welcome to tonight's Midnight Ranting. Creation or evolution? That's right, we are having a modern-day debate-inspired after-party on creation versus evolution. Aron Ra and Dr. Thompson versus Sal and Cindi. And won't you join James W., myself, Amy Newman, and our special guest host, Cindy Lincoln, for a divinely good time worth evolving into. What is up, everyone out there on the inner tubes? We hope you're having a fantastic day or night. And we hope that if you're enjoying the show, please don't forget to like, follow if you're on Twitch, or subscribe if you're on YouTube, because then you gain access to that bell icon, which when set to all, will send you reminders to see our premieres or join our live streams like What Is Up, Peebo and Marshall and Ness and Skyworks and X Music, Winsta's mom, Big Screen Bird, Tim, Private Wars,
quite a cadre we got.
I know tonight, we got the whole Skeptic and Ranting crew. We got Chad and Dave Gar. And we will keep on, and Tim, we will keep on saying hi to everyone as they enter. However, if you want your specific comment, question, or one-liner read on screen, keep on tagging us at James W. or at Amy Newman. And that is right. This is a post-debate after show. However, if we are just talking about the topic or whatever comes to our mind tonight, we are talking creationism and evolution, and the link is about to be going into stream. We're going to do a much shorter housekeeping than we do because we want to get right to that open mic. But how are you doing tonight, Cindi?
Hanging in there. Somebody said in your chat, way to endure the Lions Den.
Yeah, we're going to keep the Lions a little on the tamer side tonight. We don't want anybody
beating up on you too bad. They weren't that
Aron is
a mensch, right?
No, Aron's a really good guy, and from the times I've interacted with him, only a few, but I think he knows that you're a sincere person, so he's not going to be too hard. If you're a grifter, if you're a con man, he's going to pile drive you into the ground. But if you're sincere, he just thinks you're mistaken, he's not a bad guy at all.
Wow. I was reading or listening to some of his videos in preparation, and I got to read this quote, okay? He's a kindred spirit, even though we're different in some ways. Okay, he made this comment in his Foundational Falsehood series. He says, bilking little old ladies of their prayer donations and undeserved respect given by sheep following manipulative fakes. Did he get that one right? Or what?
Yeah, that sounds like someone
we know. Wow.
Yeah. It's a model that works. They make money off of it, and so they do it. They take advantage of people. It's,
charismatic preachers, the drifters of the world.
Hey, Pat. Good to see you, Pat.
That's why I was screaming in the audio, because I realized it was a setup. And the guy that I thought I was married to was really an actor. And
I think he was trying to antagonize you to get you to.
If you're not going to scream when somebody does that to you, then there's something dead inside.
Right. I think a lot of it was intentional because, like we say, he had been recording you for a while, and you know,
it was 100%.
Like with the other woman's underwear being found in the house. I mean, what woman is not going to get a little upset about that? I don't know of any.
Yeah.
And after all that time, we come to learn it's Matt Powell's.
No, it was Steve Lynn's. Matt hadn't gotten there yet. Andy. Come on.
Indeed.
There you go.
In fact, it might have been Steve's.
I'm not kidding. See, now we're getting to the real juicy stuff. But we are about to go into the open mic. I think what we will do is I will shoot the open mic link while we are doing the our little open, what does Sam Harris say? Little housekeeping. And so if you would like to join us, I normally would say opposition view, but on this night, there really is, we got opposition views. It doesn't matter who you are, but we love you. Atheist, theist, it doesn't matter. But if you would like, we will be opening it up to the open mic in a second, and the link is going right into chat right there. But with that, I do want to just send out a double thank you to all of our supporters out there who make this channel even possible, all of the amazing super chats that we get, all of our channel members, which has an evolving badge system. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you are looking for evidence of evolution, all you need to do is become a member of this channel, and you will get badges that over time just accumulate and evolve. But not only that, but you can help us out even more by becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/AB Newman, and that helps us make even more fun content, including awesome Patreons like Oz from the Atheist Network Group, Tang Gang, yo, Ian Davenport.
Ian, thank you so much.
So much love, Ian. Oh, grumpy old Cuss.
Thanks, Grumpy.
Diana Smith.
Thanks, Diana Smith.
Pat Lowinger, saw him out there. Woo,
Pat's
thank
out
you
there.
so
Thank you,
much,
man.
Pat. Dale
Appreciate it.
Pastel, we're looking for empirical evidence. Thank you, Dale. Dave Gar, we see Dave Gar everywhere, sending so much love. The commander of our Facebook group, which we also do. We're live, by the way. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch, on Facebook, and Twitter. And nothing bad has ever happened on Twitter. So I am happy to be there.
Satan has us on the Jumbotrons down in hell, so we are broadcasting to hell.
Exactly. Yeah. We're on channel 666. But also sending love to Dave Gar, Scott Duke, woo-hoo, Rejo, sending so much love, reminding us of our Skeptic Bible study we just had. The lovely, amazing, and fantastic Rachel Holland. Woo-hoo.
Rachel.
And also sending love to Senator Cato, separating the separation of church and state. Doesn't matter if you're theist or atheist, we should be separating. Sending love to James Wolfe, seeing him all over there out on the interwebs.
He's always out everywhere.
I know, and he has sent us so much love and support. I cannot keep on sending.
He's a great guy.
So much love back to James. And then last but not least, Matt Deig. Thank you so very much. It is amazing to have you on board and supporting us. But not only all of our supporters, but just our subscribers and viewers like you. And so thank you to all of that. And then I think we're just going to go... I think I'm going to hand it to you actually first, James, and then myself, and then Cindy, if she would like to say anything, and then we're opening it up to the open mic. And dun, dun, dun. In fact, I'm going to show it and pin it one more time. People may be speaking, but if you keep on tagging us, we will show your comment or question anything up on screen. Even so, however, before we get Dr. Bird, Ness, Jen, and Bubbles in here, we are going into the hot seat. I'm putting you in it first, James. James, we are talking creation or evolution, and what are your thoughts?
So, hey, guys, again, I feel like we were just here a few hours ago, and that's because we thought we were going to take the night off, but today I happened to see this amazing debate between Aron Ra was going to be there, Cindy Lincoln, Sal, and the good doctor. So I knew we would definitely want to be covering this one. And what can you say about the debate? It was was quite, I think, passionate on both sides. I think both sides really sincerely advocate for their position. Obviously, you know which side of the fence we lay on, but I think there was a lot of good discussions. And yeah, we could talk a little bit more about the specifics of the debate once and get down into the meat and potatoes, but let's get everybody on first. But I do want to thank Cindy for joining us tonight once again. And yeah, you got anything for us, Amy?
Why, yes,
not give
I
you long
do.
enough?
No, that's okay. I would rather say it. I always feel bad because when we have theist and creationist, I always feel that my openings are always spicy. So never applies to any of the panels or guests. But yes, creation or evolution? Well, this isn't exactly a true dichotomy. One could say there is creation or not creation, evolution or not evolution. But since evolution is a fact, populations of genes do mutate, and the environment or other pressures like sex do select for them. So the better question becomes, why should anyone believe in creationism? Well, the answer lies where science and religion clash. Because creationism is religion with a fancy suit, and intelligent design is religion with a sports car. Claiming that there is a creator of the universe may be a philosophical question, but if we're talking about the physical universe, then it's also a scientific one. And thus, we have come up with big zeros so far, or to say, no such evidence of said creator. When we look into the universe, what we actually see is a cold, uncaring world. Life seems to be quite rare, at least in comparison to everything else. And among life forms, good and bad things happen to us at about a 50-50 rate. Though we as humans, specifically as a social species, don't have to be that way, which makes some aspects of evolution surprising to creationists. I thought this was survival of the fittest. Well, survival of the fittest doesn't mean survival of the strongest. We don't have to live with zero-sum games. That is to say, someone doesn't have to lose. Instead, we can cooperatively work together to achieve our goals, which just so happens to be highly successful. So creation or evolution? Well, creationism as it sits right now is a hypothesis, while evolution is a fact, and the theory or the framework of facts explains such observations. Woohoo! And I know that was spicy compared to I always feel bad because we actually have our special guest host. So this is me clearing the air. Magical clearing the air. And with that, we are going to hand it over to Cindy Lincoln. We really do appreciate you being here. We really want to know your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything that you would like to. The floor is yours.
Well, Amy, I think that you mince words too much, honey. I would have to disagree with zero evidence for the creator, although I definitely see what you're saying about the cold, hard universe. If you don't have the creator, that's what it seems like, and it's a frustrating amount of silence. But I do actually believe that God came to earth, and I used to be really mad because I sensed there was a God, but I said, where are you? Why don't you talk to us? How are we accountable if you're not going to tell us what you want? And when I realized that Jesus was God come to earth, I have never lost that excitement. I was just so stoked that that God that I wondered about really did come to earth, and he wrote a book. And I think there's evidence for both of those statements. And so now I see that as evidence for a creator.
Anything else about the debate you want to
Dave.
bring up, or you're...
I guess I'd like to see what questions people have.
You want to get to the questions, what people have to say? Okay.
I was very grateful for Aron being kind. But I do feel like a lot of what he and Chris said doesn't make sense. So I guess, and like when I would say, well, that's your opinion, and he would say it's a fact, like Amy just said, evolution's a fact. We have variations in a population, but the population remains the same kind. You don't have variations to the extent where one kind changes into another. And if you want to take it into the, well, what's a kind? And since you can't define a kind, then therefore what you said is false. I don't agree with that. No matter how you define the kind, you don't have like a rabbit turning into a rat, even if the kinds are close, you know. Anyway, the genetic information inside of a rat. And Aron was saying this. Okay, so this is a question for you evolutionists. Okay, I've heard this over and over again. What Aron was saying is evolution can never take you outside of its kind. A dog is always going to make a dog, just like it always says. But then you show the chart, the tree that shows that a single cell evolved into all the diversity of life that we see. And saying that, well, we are all still cells doesn't cut it for me. How does a single-celled organism, or even something small and simple like a sea cucumber, turn into something else? So he's trying to speak out both sides of his mouth is how it feels to me. Can somebody explain that to me? Because I don't get it.
I could give you a quick analogy. So, and this is an example I go to a lot of times because it's easy to understand. But
I'm sorry to laugh. I just saw a really funny comment. It says, I was a single cell last year.
Well,
Sorry.
I think what he means is a lot of times people will say, like, oh, did you see the trilobite has 50,000 lenses in the eye? And that's not really that amazing because if you take one item and you copy it a bunch of times, it's just it's the same structure, just copied a bunch of times. It's not all that amazing. But so if you look at like human language, how did it start? Well, probably started with very primitive grunts and noises that probably didn't make sense to anybody. And since that time, it's evolved into all these different languages today. But English is never going to become Chinese. It's never going to be French. It's never going to be Swahili. It's just going to continue to diversify. But if you look at the English language 1,500 years ago, you could barely read any of it. It would not make any sense to you whatsoever. But if you look at English from maybe 100 years ago, there might be a few words in there that are used a little different than we do today, but you could definitely read it. So somewhere in that time, there was major changes to the language, but it never happened from one year to the next where there was drastic changes. It's not as if a parent gave birth to a child that spoke Middle English and the child spoke modern English. It was just a very, very gradual accumulation of new words and words falling out of use and the way that words were used. And there were times where we had an integration, like with the Norman Conquest, when they assimilated a lot of French into English, and we can see that in the history. But it's evolution's a force of nature. It happens with biological organisms. It happens with languages. It happens all over. It's just a fundamental principle of nature. And I know they're not exactly the same because they're not biological organisms that reproduce, but I think the mechanism is very similar. And I think if you see what's going on with that, it's just the gradient of change that kind of throws people off.
And Cindy, you're going to have the last word. So whenever you feel that you're done, that's going to be it. And then we're moving on to the open mic. But feel free to take as much time as you want.
Go ahead, Cindy.
I think that the evolution that you're referring to is what I would refer to as macro and micro. Mm-hmm. But Aron says that we use that word wrong. So I'm not going to use those words, but I'm going to say evolution change in a population can happen to a degree. In other words, humans can vary, but humans aren't going to turn into another kind. And somebody was making fun of my use of cucumber, and I didn't. When I was a kid, the tree of lives that they would show would be having the sea cucumber be a primitive life form. That's what I was referring to. And again, a sea cucumber isn't going to, usually on the chart, it would be sea cucumber, starfish, invertebrate, vertebrate. But my position is, and what I would call macroevolution, is those things don't turn into one another like the chart shows. You could have maybe a variety of sea cucumbers or a variety of starfish, but you don't have one turning into another.
And on that, because before we get, because I think we could have a conversation, but I would actually rather get everyone. And I also would love to know what people thought of the debate. I would love to know what people think of the topic. We asked that you be cordial to our special guest host, but it sounds like she actually is interested in hearing other people's ideas. So we'll have some back and forth. The only other thing I'll say is that we will give everyone their own opening statement before we move into open conversation, but there's already 6 people behind stage. And so just try and be as piffy as you can so that we can move into that open discussion. Feel free to say whatever you want, but keep on being brief.
Talk fast.
And we're saying both things at one time. I forget. It's like you're giving me an order to relax. I can't relax. You're giving okay. And we're moving into the open mic. We're sending love. We're in fact midnight ranting on creation or evolution, and we are bringing everyone else in, starting with the Dr. Bird. You are up to bat. What is up, Dr. Vegetarian Bird? Great to have you as always. And we want to know, what are your thoughts on the topic, the debate, tacos?
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Bird. Not a real doctor, but we can get into that later. Just real briefly, I thought the debate was good. I thought, both sides were mainly cordial. Like James said, it was a good mix of being passionate and cordial, which is way better than just a dumpster fire, obviously.
Definitely.
My critique for Cindy would be, I understand there's a lot you don't understand, and admitting that is like the first place to start. So that from the skeptic community is a very big thing that you've done, is to say, hey, I just don't understand this. Maybe some more teaching would be helpful. And I totally agree with you. You were in a nest of lions, basically. The other 3 guys are very learned and to both their respective fields. They're top of the field, what have you. And I don't know much on your background. It's kind of irrelevant, but I thought you did fairly well. And like I said, I would definitely take up Aron on his offer
Yeah, I would
a lot
like
of his videos are very, very good, and they're easy. They're pretty easy to understand without being like too techno mumbo jumbo. Because I'm going to be honest, whenever Sal and Dr. Chris were spouting off all this science, I was like, that's not my field. I have no clue what they're talking about. But I tend to go with the scientific consensus where Sal doesn't. So that's. Anyway, I'm done, Amy. Glad to be here and get this show on the road.
Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Bird. Welcome on board, and we're going to keep on adding in people.
And yes, Randolph, I did laugh at your cucumbersome joke.
Yeah, Randolph is known for his jokes, isn't he?
So cumbersome. Ness, what is up? We are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Hope you're having a good day or night. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Well, I can speak loudly because I have people next in my room, so I will speak as quiet as possible. Sorry for that. My main issue with the debate was that it was really unfocused. Like you could really tell that Sal, for example, really wanted to talk about one topic, topo races. Well, sometimes we went to the fossil record and such, and Sal was trying to pull it back again to topo races. So it was really disjointed sometimes, and that's my main issue with the debate.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so very much, Ness. Welcome.
Yeah, sorry, babe.
Oh no, welcome on board. Sounded like you wanted to say something.
If you want.
Sal felt that the cellular level trumps the fossil record, and he's not a geologist, and so he didn't want to go in that arena.
Yeah, we know.
Well, right, but my main issue was like something like that should be stated beforehand, so everybody knows clearly what each wants to talk about. That's all I'm saying. Like, so, and if you find out during the debate that one wants to talk about this, one wants to talk about that, then it doesn't really go anywhere. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Sal, like in my history of seeing Sal debate, and like for example, he did his Age of the Earth debate where the people advocating for the old Earth, they gave their evidences, and just to paraphrase Sal, he basically said, "Yeah, I don't really have anything to say to like anything they said. I've just got this one or two points that I think indicate a young Earth, and yeah, but." There's so much he just doesn't address it. He just bypasses it and goes to, the things that he's interested in talking about.
And qualified. And in one sense,
yeah.
That's Chris actually conceded at one point that he wasn't qualified to talk about the fossil record much also. Isn't that or there was one subject that Chris acknowledged he didn't feel competent to discuss.
Yeah, I know. Dang it.
Somebody in the chat made a really good point. It's hard to cover everything related to the topic in one debate.
It is.
That is a fact. I mean, I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff, and the science.
It's hard, especially in a 2v2.
Can somebody stop focusing on me because I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ness.
Thank you, Sith Lord.
Just wanted to make sure that you got out everything that you wanted. Thank you so much for joining us, Ness. Stick around for the open dialogue, and we're going to we still got Jen, Bubbles, Leo, and P down backstage. We are getting Jen up here because we are Midnight Ranting.
Jen, what up, gangster?
Thug life, Jen. Thug life.
Exactly, on creation or evolution. Hope you're doing well. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we were talking about?
I'm doing really well, Amy. James, thanks for having me. Nice to see everyone else. I'll just pretty much echo the other comments that I've heard so far. It was good. It was always nice when it doesn't turn into a dumpster fire. However, it was a little bit talky-pasty, which I think is really hard to avoid in these kinds of debates. For some reason, it's just to even get to be sort of relatively certain that we're even talking about the same idea. It seems really hard for this topic, but I guess that means it's chance to improve. I guess I like that Cindy just pretty much kept debating when she got on the after show. There was barely a pause there, which I always love that. So I wanted to, well, I think everyone, probably not everyone, but maybe some people already know my
They haven't
evolution.
seen your maracas yet.
Well, yeah, maybe some people haven't. And if you have, sorry about the repeats, we're already on the greatest hits. Back to, so I just have this like DNA spiral model where we have what you might call metaphysical primitives or very simple geometries generating a more complicated spiral shape. And then you have to imagine that kind of going up and all the way through. If I can just show, is it all right if I show my screen or is that?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Okay.
She's going to porn bomb.
Oh, my.
Oh, we would only be so lucky.
That was Steve McRae, no, never mind. That was somebody I don't want to mention, but he would always be sure that they weren't going to porn bomb. So what do you got there?
So just real quick with my evolution model, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do have one, and this is a drawing sort of basically that we're biological pump of some kind that becomes more complex spontaneously through this very mysterious process called evolution that we shouldn't really be too hard on ourselves for not understanding because it involves assimilating stuff going on over very many millions of years, very likely. And so anyway, that's all I needed about. That's all I really wanted to show.
So you're saying item number 1 turns into item number 2, turns into item number 3?
Well, not quite, because that's not what the model predicts, but we can talk about that more if you're interested in the open mic stuff. But just real quick, I wanted to address what you said about believing in God and wishing that it was obvious that God was real. And I think that maybe God is like a hippie kind of anarchist peacenik that it would feel bad to kind of force people to believe in him. Just a thought. Just wanted to put that out there. And it might actually suck kind of angels in the movie Dogma style, if you ever saw it, that if we actually could have that good of proof for God, it might
Can I just say
some
that
fun.
If angels exist, I hope they bicker like the way that they do in Dogma.
Yeah, that's such a good movie. Yeah. But if they existed, then we wouldn't need faith. We'd have evidence. So
Anyway, thanks for having me. That's all I had to say.
Thanks, Jen.
Talk to you in a bit.
Thank
Awesome.
you, Jen. Welcome on board. We got Bubble, Leo, and P-Town up next. And with that, Bubble, what is up? We are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Hope you're doing well, Bubble. What are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about? I can't believe you would say something.
My
God,
so
why? Since I've ever heard Bubble think. I've never heard
I will say something while he's figuring that out. He did say in the chat in Modern Day Debate that humans are not invertebrates. Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
We are sending love, atheist or theist. We'll bring you back, Bubble. I'll put you
every
backstage.
Once in a while,
you're not an invertebrate, Amy.
Every once in a while, you run into somebody who makes Ken Hovind's knowledge of evolution seem profound.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What did James just say?
Bubble believes even less in evolution than Ken Hovind.
Are you kidding?
No, like Bubble doesn't even think dogs evolved from wolves. Where he doesn't even believe in microevolution.
He genuinely thinks that a wolf can give birth to a Dalmatian, and that's how it works. Yeah, it's crazy.
But Bubble, tell us if you come back, Satan might have gotten you. Sometimes it pulls James and I to the underworld where we have to sell timeshares. But we're going to go to Leo in the meantime. Leo Felius, fantastic to have you back on. We are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. We want to know your thoughts on the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about.
Hello. Yeah. So number one, I think that I did watch a little bit of the debate, but I didn't watch all of it because I caught the tail end and then I rewound and kind of skipped through it here. I think that both what Jen and what Nesselig said, I think they both made two really good points. That number one, Jen said there was a lot of talking past each other. I did observe that quite a bit in this in this exchange. And then Nesselig said that that there was what was the point that he said? I can't remember right off the top of my head.
like each participant really wanted to talk about the one topic, but not the same one. Yeah.
Yes. Sal really, and it was really Sal that wanted to do that. He wanted at first he wanted to talk about eukaryote or prokaryote to eukaryote evolution. Then he wanted to talk about zinc fingers. Then he wanted to talk about topoisomerases, and he wanted to focus in on like specific things. And he kept going to, well, I've published papers in this, and I've worked with top scientists in this. That doesn't mean anything. Like we don't even have to get into the nuances related to the truth of those claims. We can just grant that they're true wholly. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that what you say is correct. That's not how it works. So there wasn't really much of an argument from him. But I think Jen really hit the nail on the head there when she said that that there was a lot of talking past each other. I don't think that either side really seemed to understand what the main points that the other side were trying to make. I don't really understand the point that the creationists were trying to make myself, but I suppose we can get into that later.
Woohoo! Sounds
Thanks,
fantastic. Welcome to have you on board, Leo. And with that, it looks like Bubbles says that the audio is working, so we're pulling him back in.
Better get his ass
down.
Leo, did you hear what I said?
You better get Bibbs in here. I want Bibbs. I want to talk to Bibbs. There he is. There's Bibbs.
Bubbles, welcome. We are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Hope you're having fun. What are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
Can you hear my audio?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can, Bibbs.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately.
Well, anyways, I'll get you back to you in a second, Bird. As for debate, I think Cindy and Sal lost. I did try to reach out to Sal I did try to reach out to Sal to be his partner, but we do have bad blood. And I noticed I was earlier in Sal's stream, and he said he sent Cindy over here, which is basically just sending Cindy to the wolves.
No! I like to think that Cindy's on home base here. She knows whose side we stick with on where it matters most.
Go into Lions Den, so.
I think it's very toxic to kind of deceive people like Cindy that you aren't out to pretty much take away their faith.
Well, I would say actually there is like two different things. Like, yes, James and I are counter apologists and comedians, and that's our shtick and everything. But like on a fundamental level, all atheists and theists should come together and agree that Mr. Hoven is a piece of. And then I think that's something that we can just all come together on. Yeah. But
tax dodging, child drowning, abusing piece of shit. Yes.
Yep. And so that has really nothing
I'm indifferent.
to do with you could. Hey, like I said, I think James just debated him. I'm probably going to debate him soon. I'll be cordial to him on there. But
thanks,
I had a discussion with him. I don't know if he'd call it a debate. I don't really know what you would call it. He really flustered, but I had a discussion with him.
Well, you don't debate Kent. You just go against his script. He's just ruined the script. So
it's not really bubble. This is I've never heard you
say something so poignant
and say, this is fantastic.
Crazy.
Normally, Bubble's getting on his knees, ready to.
Bubble, we might be friends by the end of this.
I say that all the time. I even say that on like LPP's streams. He needs to get off the script.
I mean, anything else to say? If not, welcome on board, Bubble.
No, I'm just here to back up Cindy when she doesn't know stuff.
Oh yeah,
I can tell she's got a new friend. She is happy. Oh man, welcome to have you.
So
Bubble.
what about humans are invertebrates? What about that one?
Dr. Dan out there. Good to see you, Dr.
Yeah, I was making fun of your cladistics because
Dr. Dan's in the audience.
Dr. Dan in the house.
Thanks
Dr. Dan is quite
for real.
valuable, I guess you could say.
It's
going to be a joke that I think only me and him are going to get.
I immediately got it because I've been watching you debate value.
You saw that on AJ's, didn't you? Yeah.
That's right.
You never know when Amy's watching. She is always watching.
But with
Thanks for clarifying, Bubble. Appreciate that.
We are going to bring on P-Town, our last person before we go into.
I am making fun of you.
But we do have room for more people, so feel free if you're
fun of
out
me.
there,
Bring on
evolution
good old
believer,
Rotop.
creation believer,
Evolutionist.
atheist. Yeah,
Okay.
You just got to attach an ister and ism, and then it's bad. That's how it works. But P-Town, welcome. We are
P-Town.
Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Hope you're doing well. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Hey people, thanks for having me back.
Howdy.
I didn't know there was a debate, so I didn't see the debate. But
That's okay. What's your thought? Creation versus evolution, baby.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm a former atheist. I'm a Christian now. I believe the Bible's true.
Literal.
I think that literally true. I think that evolution is a theory. I think it's very dangerous.
It's a fact.
And I think it's deceitful. And that's why I'm here.
Great to have you.
I'm on this team.
If I
That's
was
right.
Amy,
They got a new one.
If I was Amy, this is where I'd go. What?
That's
Yeah,
right. We got a new person on, but thank you so very much, P-Town. I
Could be
think I am
dangerous.
a little bit skeptical of your new conversion. However, we're just happy to have you on. And so, welcome. And we have Baby Destro. Welcome aboard. We are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we talk about?
Might be muted.
I pulled them in almost as soon as they joined, Baby Destro. If you are there, you are in. I'm going to give you a few more seconds. If not, we're
Check
just
your
going to go
mute
to
button,
open conversation, in which case you can just have your intro while we're all facing each other.
He said,
Dude.
no, the icon is making him nervous.
No,
Yeah. Dude,
Is that Ness or Baby Destro?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was the same one. Sorry.
Ness is commenting on Nestro's lack of an icon, which has me a little
Oh,
myself.
Gotcha. Well,
Based
we
on
have
some
the
of our
TOS
recent
gods
visitors.
are on our sides.
No,
but I will say-
Ness is referring to the fact that he doesn't have an icon as making him nervous, as in this is somebody we probably shouldn't have in
Yes.
this
Yeah,
stream.
Well-
that's exactly what I'm worried about.
So
I'm really here.
Oh.
I'm just shy. I'm just listening.
okay. You're just listening, as in we're just gonna go to open conversation. You're okay with that? Do.
Yep.
I'm gonna take that as a yes. Woohoo!
you can listen in the
Okay.
audience. This is weird.
Sorry, Destro. We just had
Mm,
some unsavory characters.
Bird
Come on,
kind of
once
has
in
a
a while.
point. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, if he's going to listen, we can make room for somebody else. It's weird.
8, 9, 10.
I'll leave if that's weird. This is just my first time doing anything.
Well,
like
no,
this, so-
I feel bad. I would actually normally say stick around. In fact, stick around with us backstage
welcome.
if you would like to listen. We just had we have 10 people. We just had Peter down. I'm gonna switch you out,
You want
Baby
to type in the
Destro,
private chat if you want to
with
come in?
Peter. However, I really, it's not weird
Amy.
to me, and so if you want, I'll pull you in when someone else leaves. So
Amy.
feel free to stay. Yes.
When you said it's Peter, are you talking about Peter? Or are you
Peter,
talking about,
yes.
you're talking about
Peter.
Peter? Okay. The Highlander, huh? It's the
That's
Highlander.
right, baby. All right. So, Baby Destro, I'm going to put you backstage. If you stick around, I will actually just bring you
Type
back
in the private chat if you want to come back.
Yes. But welcome aboard. If it's your first time, I always know that can be a little shy and unnerving. So welcome to the Skeptic and Ranting community, and glad to have you with us.
Welcome,
all right.
welcome.
We are going to give Peter the join mark, because he's going to be our last person as we slide into open conversation. But Pieta, we are Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Good to have you on board. What are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
I think I am the joy mark. I mean, that's
Right.
how people refer to
Hi,
me.
Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Cindy. Yeah, so I watched the debate, at least most of it. I didn't get to all the questions yet, but I thought it was a good debate. The thing that stood out for me was that it was pretty cordial, although I felt bad that Sal needed to start yelling at some point. That's the part that I didn't get. But yeah, I mean, and we do have to have two Highlanders in this one. So hey, Neslik, hoe gaat ie?
Hello.
Alles goed.
Yeah. So, but I'm really happy actually that you did the debate, Cindy. But I have a question. Are you going to take Aron up on his offer?
I'm gonna try. Yes, I'm actually.
That is awesome.
Nipping at the bit. I have a couple of things going on right now. I've been forced to go back to work, and I really want to get 2 or 3 or 4 lawsuits filed. And I've had to work. I've had to get my cabin going so I can move out of this big house and get the rent coming in. But
okay.
I really want to, and I was really blessed that he was so kind and offered to. What did he offer, Peter? Did he say a half an hour?
Yeah. What he offers is a standard thing. I have to warn you, although there's little danger, I think, in all of this. There is one person other than you who has accepted it, and this person married Aron.
That's the only person that accepted it?
Yes. No young Earth creationist will accept Aron's offer.
Okay, so 6 half-hour sessions. That's 3 hours.
No, I don't think he's.
I think it was a little.
I don't think he said half-hour sessions. He said about a dozen
hour sessions.
Written interactions.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't clear on.
Yeah. So all of this it's going to be in writing, and he is if you're up for it, he will continue until you are convinced that evolution is true, and he will provide you all the evidence you need. So I think it's really awesome, and I would really like you to do it, because I know Aron. So Aron will not present you with a lie. Aron will only present you with facts, and you will be able to check all of them behind his back and conclude that what he says is absolutely 100% correct.
Also, Cindy, this is a rare occurrence, but Peter is actually the man with the plan. He produces Aron. He's the guy backstage doing his
Cindy
content.
knows that. I think Cindy knows that.
Because Peter's a mensch. He's also a good guy.
Peter's also the guy who's been helping Cindy backstage a lot. We've been talking in on Facebook, and I've been trying to help her get some exposure with her cases, because I think she deserves it. I've come to learn that Cindy is a sincere person. I haven't caught her on a single lie yet. So everyone who doubts Cindy's word, so far I've tried to find a lie, haven't been able to come up with one. Yeah. Cindy's always been kind, and we've had extensive conversations in text and in voice, and I really appreciate the friendship that I have with Cindy.
Me too.
Very sincere.
Would I be
sometimes of lying, and I don't understand it at all, because I think they're maybe just Kent's trolls, because
100%, yeah.
I haven't, as I said, I haven't caught you on a single lie. Every single time you've made a claim, you've been able to substantiate it with evidence. I've been able to go out and find other people who corroborate your claims. I mean, and I need to thank you, because pretty much through you, I found Mark Stoney, who I also consider a good friend. I mean, this is just. I just want to point out this isn't an evolutionist, creationist thing. There are good people on both sides. There are sincere and honest people on both sides. And I know for a fact Cindy is one of the honest and sincere ones.
I absolutely agree, Peter. Well, I'll give you 1 second, Leo, and then we're going to actually switch me out for, I believe, another creationist. But not only can I concur with everything Peter said, but what I think a lot of creationists fear is that what someone who is pushing evolution is trying to do is convince them not to believe in a God.
Yeah,
and so I can assure you that none of the material that Aron now I'm getting is going to be given to you is going to be like anti-God, anti-Abrahamic religion, or Christian, or anything like that. It's going to be, as far as I could tell, things that theistic scientists are also confirming, pushing forward. That would be just my appeal to open-mindedness, though I know you are open-minded. So just
so that part happened. So there was a part in the debate where Cindy touched on something from the Bible, and Aron responded. Aron responded very briefly and said, "We can have this discussion about the Bible, but I would rather have the discussion about evolution." So I think I don't think it's Aron's intention to push Cindy away from a God belief, although obviously him being an activist, that would be his ultimate goal. But if he can settle for Cindy being shown what we can show is actually true, I think he'd be satisfied with that.
And,
to be quite honest,
Cindy respond, then Leo, then sorry, Cindy, you're all good.
Sorry, honey.
Oh no.
I would admit I would love to be able to convince Aron Ra, and I do think. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for another person's heart, but even though I want to convince people about Jesus, that doesn't mean I'm going to resort to dishonest ways or means of force. I don't believe in that.
Good.
And I can vouch for that in the conversations that you and I have had. We've had conversations about God and about the Bible, and you've always been cordial and honest. And as I said, I think you are sincere. You're sincere in your beliefs. You and I differ, but that's fine. We're still friends, so apparently that's okay.
I think that's something that I wanted to ask about, because sometimes the comments get pretty hostile, especially when it's about what do you want to teach our children, and it's bad for you to teach our children this. And, creationists feel the same thing about evolution, that we think it's bad to teach our kids that. And so what I want to know is, are we going to coexist? Or is it going to get to a place where it's like, well, these guys are evil and dangerous and we got to get rid of them?
That's what Christians think about evolutionists, though.
No, and that's what you evolutionists think about Christians.
No, am I going to be able to ask?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
No, it's not, Bubble.
Wait,
yes, it is.
Prove it.
Can I answer Cindy? Can I answer Cindy?
Aron Ra is literally trying to do that.
Did Dr. Bird just say that Christians say that about evolutionists?
No, Bubble. Bird did. Okay.
In other words, what you're saying is when we try and have it not taught in public schools, that's what you're referring to, or are you referring to that we actually want to try and harm them? Or
there are some Christians that want to harm evolution being taught. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't be
there's some evolutionists who want
Shut up, Bubble. Let her talk. Sorry, Cindy. Go ahead.
That wouldn't be a true Christian, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Well, that's just a no true Scotsman fallacy.
Well,
Cindy, can I answer that really quick?
Yeah.
And I think I can explain why that was said. So we know for a fact that evolutionary based medicine is helping people. So we know that
literally not
because it's some of the best cancer medicine is evolution based.
No,
we
it's
know
not.
that.
Literally not.
We know that for a
Well,
fact.
Peter's lying. For a fact.
I know that because someone I know has had that medicine. So we know that for a fact.
No, that's not what they're saying. Peter.
What they're saying is when they say they're harming children. Imagine that a young Earth creationist would have a child. Let's say they have a little girl. This little girl is brilliant, right? This little girl can learn exceptionally fast and a lot. If this little girl is brought up in a young Earth creationist home, she would never go on and develop new medicine based on evolution that could help mankind. So that to me would be hurting not only the child, it would hurt humanity as a whole.
Thank you,
and
Peter.
This is why, and this is why some people say that it is a form of abuse towards children.
Correct.
It's not a mental abuse, it's not a physical abuse, but it is limiting children in their development, which is what I think shouldn't happen.
And
I know you, Cindy. I know you. My last words. I know you, Cindy. I know you're pretty intelligent, and this is why I'm really hoping that you will accept Aron's offer, because you will learn and you will see that you have been lied to by people who want to make money off of you. And that is the part that I'm fighting against, and that is why I'm helping people like Aron Ra, people like Amy, other Jackson Wheat, because this is something that we need to address.
It's everywhere.
I'm not faulting you for what you believe. I'm faulting the people who have lied to you and made you believe it.
And so I know you want to respond, Cindy, but I have to break this. Eventually, Leo, a quick comment or question, whatever you wanted to go to, but then I am going to switch myself out. So me and Gizmo will be behind the scenes for Lionel so he can join the panel.
You know, that's what I mean by that long monologue is what I mean by dangerous.
People who
I will say I am good on my knees too, though, so it goes both ways. But Leo, right back to you.
So it's more than a quick comment. So I don't know if you just want to switch the person out now. I'm willing to wait, but I mean, it's only going to take maybe 5 to 7 minutes. It's just a few questions and then maybe a couple of follow-ups.
Which in Leo's universe means an hour.
An hour and a half, yeah.
But you know what, guys? But that's okay.
Not with people like Cindy. I think anybody knows that. With honest people, this doesn't take long at all.
But we're going to increase the mix of creationists. So you might actually get even a more juicy answer by me doing this. And so
I'm interested in what Cindy has to say.
Oh, well, that's it.
Lionel.
I also feel bad. Baby Destro, I hate to do this. There's still people trying to step out. If you don't mind, would you mind leaving temporarily? I hate to fool you, but there's still people trying to join, and I can actually replace James W. and myself with someone else. So if you don't mind. But I am going to
if you just want to listen, you can listen in YouTube. It's the same thing.
Yes, and if it gets down really low, you can actually rejoin us, because I don't mind people hanging out behind stage, especially since you said you were new. Stick around on the YouTube. But we're going to replace me with Lionel, and then if any other person would like to join, they can backstage in a minute. They're going to be able to. But Lionel, I'm going to give the intro, and then you're going to say it. We have been Midnight Ranting. Actually, you know what? Even better. Let me do this. Lionel, we have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Hope you're doing well tonight. And what are your thoughts about the topic, the debate, or anything that we have been talking about tonight?
Well, I'm doing great.
Welcome aboard,
Thank you guys
Lionel.
for having me.
Hey, buddy.
Is everything coming through clear at this time?
Yes, sir.
You're real soft. Can you put the mic
It's a little low,
closer?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can speak up a little bit. I just didn't want to
Perfect. That's it
overwhelm.
right there.
That's
Perfect.
better.
Yeah.
Better.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, thank you guys for allowing me on. And I watched the debate earlier, and one thing that I consistently wonder when I watch a lot of the creationists is specifically. Why is, and I guess it applies to both sides, but that
You're starting to garble.
Yeah, he's
you're botting.
roboting a little bit.
yeah, I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to get this out, but so it seems like nobody seems to understand or like know that, hey, God isn't a construct of like perfection. When we were created, like we were created and then we evolved into what we are. So it's like both sides are true. So what is it that, kind of prevents each side from seeing the reality that it's actually one?
No, because you're wrong.
I actually
example-
agree with Bubble.
Yeah, what do you?
So that's a really dangerous view.
James, can
I
I ask you a
honestly
quick
think
question,
people
James?
are just talking past each other, and it's sort of built into what you call the dialectic. So, like the manner in which people express themselves makes reconciliation impossible because they essentially don't understand what the other's saying.
Okay, first, can I address Peter's point about
Okay,
cancer?
so I'm just gonna
Yeah,
jump into this
we'll let
since
Leo,
I
'cause I
haven't
know
had the
Amy-
chance
Amy
over like
told it.
20 minutes. So,
Amy
Cindy,
told it we could go.
I presume you believe in God, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think that if evolutionary theory were to be true, that this would somehow falsify the existence of God?
The Bible, yes.
I
In
think
other words, do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the concept, okay, there are theistic evolutionists. Okay, there are people who believe in God and evolution. The reason I think evolution is blasphemy is because it's a not very powerful God who needs to do experimentations just to figure things out. I believe in a God that made it right the first time with just a simple word. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of wisdom. And he doesn't need to try things out with evolution. And
But where in the Bible does it say that? Like, where are you coming up with that particular?
Well,
hold on here. Hold
We're
on.
just gonna let Leo
Hold on.
do his thing.
Hold
for a
on.
minute.
But don't. It's possible that evolution could be the mechanism that God desired with respect to the evolution of life. Correct? Like that. That's a thing that's possible.
not in my mind. I realize that's a compromised position promoted by Francis Collins and some other people. But the scriptures teach clearly that he said, "Let there be," and there was.
Yeah,
And
so if he
he's
said, "Let
gonna
there
have-
be evolution," then there would
No,
be
he said,
evolution,
let-
right?
He said, "Let."
The scripture also says that the earth bring forth life.
Yeah,
The earth bring forth life.
So
No, it says
if
that God said, "Let there be light. Let there be earth. Let there be." Oh yeah, let the earth bring forth living things. You're right.
yeah, but if evolutionary processes were something God desired, then they would exist in the world, right?
Yes, but I
Okay.
believe that if
So it is the case that you believe that evolution and the existence of God, that evolution being true and the existence of God are not mutually exclusive, that it is possible for both of them to exist at the same time.
theoretically, but I actually believe the Bible is the word of God, and that He told us what happened, and that wasn't it.
Like, no, sure, that's
but
fine. I was
here's
just trying
here's the
to.
part where I can come
Hold
in
on,
though, because I don't think you guys
I'm
like know the
sorry. I'm
Bible.
sorry. I'm sorry. I haven't finished speaking. So that's fine, Cindy. I have no qualms with that at all. I just wanted to establish that you do believe that it is possible for evolution to be true and God to exist at the same time. That's all I want clarification on. So I appreciate that.
The other thing, honey, that was a real big deal for me was at Dinosaur Adventureland, my job was to turn a gravel pit into paradise. Okay. When I went to Hawaii, I felt it was paradise. I think all of us wish we could go to Hawaii because we have paradise in our heart. We want to be in this magical place. And I believe that that's what God created. And that's what he should get the glory for. And in this paradise described in the book of Genesis, there was no death. Okay, evolution requires death.
So can I ask you a follow-up question then, if I may?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the story of Adam and Eve then ought to be taken literally? Do you take it literally that Adam and Eve actually existed and they ate of the fruit and brought sin and death into the world?
I do. I believe it's not mythical. And in the book of Matthew, it actually gives the genealogy all the way from Adam to Jesus. Adam's son all the way to Jesus.
So just a quick clarifying question.
Matthew, I'm sorry. One of the Gospels.
Yeah. But just a quick clarifying question, and I'm not like I want to stress this. I'm not asking you gotcha questions or anything. Genuinely, just trying to gauge, how you view things. Do you think that sort of the bringing the original sin into the world was happened with Eve eating the fruit or Adam eating the fruit?
Scripture says they both ate it, but she did it first. And then, yeah. But yes, I believe that's the origin of death. And really cool. Okay, this is so interesting.
Origin of death or sin?
Well, those are going to be considered like
intertwined.
I guess you could say synonymous, but synonymous might not be the right term to use there.
But sin or death or something? Is that the quote?
So God said, in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. But guess what? They didn't die, right? But when he took their fig leaves and put animal clothes, I believe that's the lamb slain before the foundation of the world. That was the first death. Mm-hmm. Jesus is supposedly, according to our beliefs, the sacrificial lamb. He died in our stead. And so when God said, in the day that you shall eat of it, you will surely die, and they didn't die, it's because Jesus died in their stead. The animal skin was representative of him.
So just to get clear here, you do think that Adam and Eve, I'll just refer to both of them together, eating of the fruit, was disobedient to God, correct?
Actually, a little beyond that, because God said if you eat it, you'll die. Satan said if you eat it, you'll be wise.
It wasn't Satan, though.
They made a choice who to believe.
Why do you say Satan? Satan's not even in the Old Testament.
Well, hold on here, because I'm trying to get somewhere No, it's all good. I'm trying to get somewhere specific with this.
Try to wrap it up, Leo.
Do you think
what is the objective here? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Do you think that buckle up and clench your bottom, and you'll find out. Do you think?
Bro, nothing you can say is gonna shock me. So okay, go ahead.
I don't really care.
Let him finish, please. Then we'll
this death, sin coming into the world is a result of this. You don't think that that's a result of like sort of like that Adam and Eve did the wrong thing there? They ought not have eaten that fruit. What they did
should
was
have
in
believed God,
disobedience to God.
Yeah, I think they disobeyed God, and I
Okay.
think that they should have believed.
Did they?
God did it.
Did they have all? Do you think that Adam and Eve knew that eating that would be in disobedience to God?
He clearly stated, yeah.
So if they knew that doing this was the wrong thing to do, that seems to me that what this really means is that both Adam and Eve were capable rationally of arriving at what it was that the right thing to do is, and that the right thing to do in this situation, what they should have done, is not eat the fruit. And it seems that you're saying that they knew that the right thing to do was to not eat the fruit.
Correct.
But they did that anyway. So what I'm wanting to understand is, if it's the case that they knew this was the wrong thing to do, they had the capability of meaningfully arriving at the conclusion that's the wrong thing to do, why then did they do it?
Don't we do it all the time?
Well, yeah, I would say we do, but we do it for, say, things like various internal coercive factors, like addiction is one that plays heavily in that. There can be external coercive factors where, like, somebody forces you through some means to do something that you know is wrong, but they're forcing you to do it through some means. But if that's the case, then it just seems that God was creating a scenario such that Adam and Eve could be coerced to do what they should not do. And at that point, I'm just curious why an all-powerful, morally perfect God would create a scenario where Adam and Eve could be coerced, whether internally or externally, to do the wrong thing. And then punish them for having allowed such a scenario to be the case.
Here, bingo.
So
Because
it
God in the
seems there's
Bible
a
is the
tension. That there's going to be a tension between this idea that Adam and Eve committed a sin. They knew that what they were going to do was committing a sin, yet they did it anyway. Either A, God just desired for them to commit the sin, in which case, if he's punishing them for doing it, he just can't be morally perfect. Number two, they just didn't have all of the relevant information to arrive at the conclusion of what the right thing to do was. And then the question is, why would an all-powerful, morally perfect being not provide them the means to arrive rightfully at what they should do? Or C, there's going to be some sort of
transgression.
There's going to be some sort of malfunction in their cognitive faculties. And then the question is, why would God have created them to have malfunctioning cognitive faculties such that they arrive at the wrong thing to do in some situation? It seems that in any three of those instances, it seems bizarre, to me at least, that an all-powerful, morally perfect being would allow any of those to be the case. And so I'm just confused as to why, if Adam and Eve knew that eating the fruit was the wrong thing to do, why they did it anyway, and why God punished them for doing so.
Being tempted is not the same as being coerced.
And this is kind of like really
I'm sorry,
far afield of the original topic, which is evolution. So I wouldn't fault Cindy for not wanting to answer this incredibly complicated soteriological matter that, frankly,
it's not really a soteriological.
It's a very easy answer.
It doesn't have
they
to
knew the
answer.
right answer and they sinned anyway, and they deserve the punishment. That's all
And
there is to it.
with all
free
due
to disagree,
respect,
but
it is
that's the right
related
thing.
to something she did directly mention.
Well, it
The
does
topic
set
is an
up
evolution
that
debate. That's the point. There's a bunch of people on this panel. Might be nice
Took you 30 minutes to come up with that, bro, and she still ain't got it. So I mean,
we're only
what do
about
you
10
like?
minutes into this. I don't think
She
that's
still
too
ain't
bad.
got it.
Can
She
I
ain't
quickly
gonna get
address Peter's claim of cancer? It'll be real quick. It's only like a 10-second video.
A video?
I mean, I just spent 10 minutes laying out an argument. Are we going to give Cindy the opportunity to respond if she wants? That is.
I want to answer.
Go ahead,
If I might.
All right.
Let Cindy answer.
So he did set up the serpent who supposedly did coerce them, but don't we hear that all the time? Like, don't we want to just hurt people sometimes that hurt us, and yet we say no?
No, I don't.
No.
Don't say no. And if you haven't had that temptation, perhaps you haven't been raped or something. But if you've been done wrong bad enough,
yikes,
like a rape or like, something really bad, it is common to just feel really a lot of anger, and you have to make a choice. And I feel
connection.
You have to make a choice about whether you're going to obey your feelings or you're going to do the wrong thing, or whether you're going to fight your feelings and do the right thing. Does that make sense?
I agree with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me, but it seems that you've already conceded that both Adam and Eve had the ability to know what the right thing to do here was, and that the right thing to do was to not eat the fruit.
I don't think there's any possibility that they could be held guilty by God if they didn't know. God doesn't judge us when we do an innocent mistake.
So you're saying they did not know?
That's the part that I want to understand.
So they did not know then that eating.
Where did that come from?
No. She's saying the opposite. She's saying the opposite.
So she's saying they did know that
They
eating
had
fruit
to
was
know.
sinful. Okay, so
First
then
of all-
why did they eat it?
Well, honey, there's something called guilt.
Power.
Why
Oh,
go to any
Original sin. It's called original sin. It is a primitive notion.
I
You are
understand
guilty.
what that is.
Well,
That's
and
not
go
an
to
answer
any
to my
courtroom
question.
in the land. Go to any courtroom in the land, and you'll find people that did the wrong thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they
Leo,
didn't
can
do
we
the
have
wrong
somebody
thing.
else?
What I'm asking is why did they do the wrong thing? They knew that it was the wrong thing, but they still did it. So what I'm wanting to know are the reasons behind that.
Because God wanted it that way.
If I can help
Eve was
Cindy,
deceived.
if I can help Cindy, it's the serpent, right? Serpent tempted Eve, and that's how that went down, basically, right, Cindy?
Can
Well,
I chime
I've
in
heard
on
that the
something
guilt does fall
Cindy
on
said?
the world, the flesh, and the devil. But
Cindy, can I chime in on something you said just earlier? I just checked my Twitter account, and one of the people that I follow is a Christian who's a journalist, and she reported that a certain guy, I think his name is Ramirez, was executed earlier today in Texas for murdering someone in a store during a robbery.
Wow.
I'm from the Netherlands. I think Neslik can back me up on this. We have a completely different judicial system from the U.S. And so I read some of the articles surrounding this case. This guy was remorseful. He even talked to the family of the person who got murdered, and got a good interaction with those people over the last few years. But this guy also had a family. He had a wife. He had children. And now he's executed. The murderer, yes. So now he's executed. That means that his children no longer have a father. His children didn't do anything wrong, but they now have lost their father. The wife has lost her husband.
So
this is something that in the Netherlands would never have happened. He would have done jail time, and he would have had mental counseling.
I believe our country, the
that-
Netherlands. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, he would have had mental counseling if that was necessary, but he already was remorseful. And yeah, so this guy in the Netherlands, first of all, would never have been put to death. He would also never have served a full sentence, because he would have been released earlier because of his behavior. He would have been rehabilitated so he could be a useful member of society and no longer a criminal. So punishing someone by doing the exact same thing they did, I don't think is useful. And you can see that through the statistics. No, you can see that through.
All
You can see that.
All I wanted to say is, look, I think the Netherlands is one of the first countries who got rid of the death penalty.
They just have a completely different outlook
we're also, I think, the only country that now has to rent out prisons because we lack criminals because of the way our judicial system is set up.
Well, good for you. That's awesome. It's not how it is here.
Yeah. We rent it out to Norway and Belgium at the moment.
Well, good.
Okay, Peter, you have to acknowledge there are some people, okay, make the connection here, who are not remorseful. They are not repentant. They will never, no matter how many years they spend in jail. And if they continue to be a danger to society is the question. Now, the fact that you're saying, I don't know anything about that case, but the fact that you're saying that there was remorse in the Bible, that's the price for forgiveness. If you're remorseful and you're not wanting to do that anymore and you're acknowledging, that's forgiveness.
Well, I'm glad we don't use that.
What I'm saying is, even this is a heinous crime because the guy was brutally murdered. It was absolutely a brutal murder. I checked on that as well. But that doesn't mean that you have to kill someone because they have killed someone else.
I disagree.
No, I don't disagree because
I think that there are times for yes and times for no.
I disagree with you, Peter.
Why?
Are we going to talk about evolution at any point?
Well, I mean,
I know, right?
I'm just curious.
That's what I'm wondering. I called in specifically with a question about evolution, and you guys are still.
I know, right?
Okay, go ahead, Lionel. We'd love to hear what
There's 10 people in the room.
Holy shit.
Conversations change.
Peter, we'll talk about this later. I promise.
Can I present a video that will bring us back on topic?
No, we're not going to watch a video. You can link a video, and people who want to watch it can go watch it. We're in a conversation. We're not going to do videos. Bird, what was your answer?
No, I said you and I will talk about this later, Peter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I mean,
Lionel wanted to say something.
Thank
you. Go ahead, Lionel.
Well, at this point, I mean, I don't know where we're going with this. It seems like
you've been dominating the conversation for a while. Please let him speak.
You can talk about whatever.
I did. I literally just said, "Go ahead, Lionel." What the fuck are you going on about?
Go ahead, Lionel.
No need to speak to the young lady like that, sir.
She's fine. We're good.
And I mean, let me block that out of my head. So, yeah, no, I mean, I guess are we trying to like conform Cindy's belief at this point? I mean, a lot of the talk, towards her seems to be very much in an attempt to, I guess, open her mind in certain regards. But
of course it is.
Okay. Well, so would you like me to continue in that line of thought? Because her whole argument is based in.
Go ahead.
Whatever way you
her whole argument is based in the Bible. You're not going to crack her outside of going into the Bible and disproving it in that fashion. And I don't think any of you guys really know the Bible enough to be able to discredit what her beliefs are.
I disagree.
Make your point.
I disagree.
Well, my question is why, and someone said it was a dangerous way of thinking. So I would love to know, why is it dangerous that when I was a child and I was taught that, hey, this is what God says, I was raised in the church, all these things. I always said, okay, well, that means God said, let there be light, and there was the Big Bang. So what's dangerous about understanding that evolution is God?
Evolution is God?
What?
Evolution is. I'm sorry. I thought you guys heard me the first time I said it. Right. So I thought you guys.
So you're advocating, Lionel. You're advocating for theistic evolution.
Yes, I am stating that, hey, God's tool of life is evolution. When he said, let there be life, that was the Big Bang.
Let me answer that. Okay, the problem, look at the mechanisms of evolution.
I guess, hold on, let me say one other thing.
What are those?
I'm referring to what is considered God, right? Who we think is God. I don't even think that that's truly God, because that is only what we know as God. But in terms of the basic conversation of, oh, God is this, God is another being that said, hey, I'm going to create life on this planet, and created the system in order to do that. But there is a higher God than even that we just don't necessarily. We're like the ants. You know, the ants can't comprehend what's going on.
Right. Also, Lionel, correct me if I'm wrong. You believe that we are aliens on this planet, correct?
Everything is alien.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
All right, wait, Leo, you already had a chance. All right, let's break down the mechanisms of evolution. Do you know them, Leon?
Do you?
What is?
Yes,
Leon. What are you talking about, Bubble?
I'm talking to Leon.
Bubble.
Who's
Bubble.
Leon?
Don't ask people if they know something that you have
Who's
no
Leon?
clue of.
Who's Leon?
Oh, Lionel. I'm
Lionel.
Lionel.
Oh, Lionel.
The
Okay,
guy-
sorry.
Okay, do you know the mechanisms of evolution, Leon?
Lionel.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Lionel?
Dude, just
I
write
don't
his
know.
name down or something, man. This is getting real confusing.
Lionel.
Okay.
Right. So no, I don't need to know the mechanisms of it. I understand that. Hey, this
Oh,
the
so you're just taking,
mechanisms.
wait. So you're just taking them on faith?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, good.
You're getting into something that's really not necessary, because again, let me try to
No, it
explain
is
it to
necessary.
you.
You're not answering his question at all. Like, sorry, Lionel, I was listening. I didn't fully understand. You're like, are you asking if we're conceiving of God as the thing that is making evolution happen?
That's what I was trying to explain from the beginning, is that, hey, everything that people believe is evolution, yes, that is a function of God. God has created the evolution. He is the master behind it.
Well,
It's
that's
not like her, right. So her belief of saying, oh, God said, let me create man, and then there was a perfect being. No, God created man over the eons of time that it took to develop man.
How does that work in your model?
It just
I
sounds
don't
like
have
a
a fucking model, dude. Like, this is not a debate, bro.
Panentheism kind
This
of thing.
is
But
the
the problem is
in
that the
all
Christian God
fairness-
that she's talking about is not a panentheistic being. There's a substantial
in all
difference
fairness-
between panentheistic being
in
of the
all
Bible
fairness-
and what you're talking about in terms of panentheism with, oh, it's the ground of evolution. But we should still talk about it because this is a super interesting topic. But I don't think they're
in all-
biblically reconcilable.
In all fairness, it could still fit the biblical God if the
No,
biblical God
absolutely
is
not.
if the biblical God is omniscient, then he would know that evolution would lead to men, and he would set it up, and he would know that we would be here. So yeah, nothing of when it comes to evolution that doesn't go against the Bible. It's just how you read it and how you interpret it.
Absolutely.
It's a really
false.
complicated opinion about God for an atheist.
Absolutely false.
That's
Well,
not
I was an
complicated.
atheist
All
until I
Peter was really
realized there was a
saying
God.
is that
I mean,
evolutionary theory
it
isn't.
is a fact. It is a fact that most Christians accept
evolution, yeah.
evolution.
Yeah.
And you might even have a point if you say that most evolutionists are Christians.
Exactly. That's why I
That
said
might
in the
be-
very beginning
that
that
might
both
be.
sides. I want to understand. My question was, why is it that both sides have to have it, one or the other?
One at a time.
Yeah, apparently there's not a thing where you accept evolution and then have to ditch God entirely. That's the point that I was trying to make.
Yes. Peter was
Because
pointing
this
out
is
that
still-
there's no logical impossibility between evolution being true and the existence of God. Those two are
Yes.
not mutually exclusive.
Right.
And,
So why
and the
this-
topic
why
and
is
the
there-
topic is still creation or evolution. I'd like to go back to that topic. I think it's an interesting topic.
But why is it versus? Is my question.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking about your model, because you're
Whose
not,
model?
Lionel.
Lionel.
He wants him to say death. He wants him to say death is the mechanism. That's
No.
where.
No, he's
No.
saying evolution is the mechanism that God used to create.
That's right.
No, I'm talking about corporate operator Bubble with his question.
No, I'm asking how does his
And
model work?
just for
It doesn't-
reference, death was a
Well,
mechanism.
death was a
in,
mechanism.
in the Garden of Eden as well, because if Adam and Eve were allowed to eat of all the fruit, that means that the fruit had to die. You cannot eat
goodness
something
me.
that is dead.
That's freaking plants, man. That's ridiculous.
Yes, and plants are alive.
Plants alive.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
They
James,
are
all
alive,
of
but
this
can
is
you
there's
use
going
like
against
2
the
they don't
minutes?
have
Bible.
blood, and there is a fundamental difference.
They don't
Is
consider
our
it to be
belief.
life in the
All of
The
this
Bible
is
is
completely
Hey, James, can you put people on time? Because it's really chaotic.
Cindy, in all fairness, have you ever seen a dead plant? And have you seen the difference between a dead plant and a plant that is still alive?
Have you honestly
I
ever
know,
convinced
honey.
anyone
We're
with
just
this
saying.
type of argumentation? Seriously.
No, I'm just this was just a joke, but plants are alive. So saying that there was no death in the Garden of Eden is just silly, because we know that there had to be. Humans need every organism on the planet has to consume every vertebrate has to consume
That's what I'm saying, but you're telling it to a young lady who believes that the thing is a literal interpretation. She doesn't understand that it's allegory, that is not a real freaking garden. It's metaphors, it's symbols.
Well, no, Cindy said she took it literally, so that's why I was running down the line of questioning that I was earlier.
I know, but that's what I'm explaining to you, though. She's gonna revert back to the Bible, bro. So you can't talk on a literal.
That's fine. I can grant her that. That's not
honey,
going to
wasn't
defeat the
always
argument that I was laying out.
Lionel, what kind of
The
evolution do
answer
you
to your
believe in?
argument is always going to go back to the Bible because that's her belief.
Fine.
That's her
That
source of
doesn't
reference.
defeat the argument. I can grant you that. That doesn't defeat my
Okay, so
argument.
you won an argument. You won an argument that you had no like. What
I
was
don't
the
know
point
what
of winning?
winning has to do with. I don't
You said
understand.
that I won the argument. That's what
I didn't
you
say
just
anything
said.
about winning. I just said that what you're saying doesn't defeat my argument. Doesn't make my argument false. That's all I said.
Question.
All right,
Can I
let's
address
Cindy talk for a
corporate's
moment.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think corporate asked, "What's the mechanism for evolution?" Is that right?
Well, what specifically Lionel's? Because he apparently has a different mechanism that is not Darwinian evolution. So I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Well, you
What
don't
is
either.
The mechanism of creation is the mechanism of creation is not understood by man at this time.
No, I'm
Man
talking
doesn't-
about your model, your evolution model.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You don't have the capacity of understanding my model, bro. So
How about
Okay.
you
going
explain
into
it
this?
anyway and help
Tips
us understand
Fedora.
it? Can you explain it and help us understand it? How about you do that?
Well, that was kind of a
is-
rude thing to say, so I don't know if we want to go down that trail.
I
Yeah,
do.
Ryan,
I want him.
don't
I
say
want him
we
to
have to
explain
answer
his
these
model to
questions.
me. That's what I want.
The model
Don't feel like you have
is
to answer these
mythology.
questions. We can just talk about the topic itself, which is whether a creation hypothesis or evolution is more likely, or if those like as far as I could tell, you
That's
weren't
what I'm trying to
promoting
get
that
to.
idea. You are just asking us why we couldn't reconcile these two positions. And
No.
we still haven't gotten past that because certain people are trying to make this about winning a debate.
Like I said, and I just want to know why can't it be both? Can someone tell me why that's dangerous? Somebody said that like an hour
Nobody
ago
said
when
it
I
was
got on this
dangerous.
thing. Why is that dangerous?
You
Well,
were just asked
me
what
that
your
said it was
model
dangerous.
is.
Because that's incoherent.
Was that P-Town who said it was
It's
dangerous?
not.
It's been me that's been saying this is dangerous.
Let's ask.
Go ahead,
What do you?
P-Town.
Can you guys
Go
hear
ahead,
me?
P-Town.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah, Lionel, it's dangerous because it goes against what the Bible says. That's our view.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you're scared of the devil. The devil, that's actually God. So yeah, no, I'm past that point, dude. I understand that God is beyond what you conceive as
The
in the
devil is
Bible.
God?
That's
Did you
I
just
know
say
that's
the
not
devil
what
is
he
God?
said.
No, it is
no,
what
that's
he
what I
said.
said.
The devil
That's
is
what
God.
I know.
He has more of
No,
a
he
Gnostic,
said
I
it's-
think, interpretation.
Right. I said it.
Are
last
you a
time. I'm sorry.
Gnostic, Lionel?
Yes, I understand that
And
the
that's
God
why
of the
you come
Bible is
into
the
a debate like
explains a lot.
this.
Debate.
And
This isn't a
or,
debate. Why does
sorry,
everybody keep
discussion.
referring to debates and winning when that's not what's going on? I don't understand. Anyway,
We just spent
Wrong
20
word.
minutes trying to set up some sort of slippery slope about.
I didn't
counting
set up
the
a
original
slippery
sin.
slope. I was trying to understand the fundamentals of someone's worldview and point out what I thought to be a tension in their
definitely-
No,
worldview.
you were trying to get
That's
her with
what
the
we're
problem
supposed
easily.
to do in
And now
these
you realize we're
discussions.
debating about whether it's a debate on the show.
No, we're not. We
So-
wouldn't be a debate if you'd stop responding.
In
You're trying to bait her.
P-Town and myself's view that the Bible is the Word of God, if evolution is true and it says that the Bible is wrong, that
It
to
doesn't
us
say that,
is
though.
Evolution
dangerous
doesn't say that the
because-
Bible is
Yeah.
wrong.
Wait a minute, let me finish,
Let her
please.
finish.
that is dangerous because it takes away what we believe is salvific.
Well,
I
you think
believe
the literal
John, would that
interpretation of
be
Genesis
correct?
is salvific?
What, honey?
You
We believe the Bible.
literal interpretation of Genesis is salvific. That's part of the soteriology.
The Bible is salvific in general. So if you can throw out Genesis, or you can throw out the miracles,
It's a slippery
or you can
slope
throw
thing
out
for you.
whatever.
You can throw out the whole Bible.
This is
It's a slippery slope.
this is
like
what's
if you
happening.
throw out one thing, then maybe you'll throw another and another and another, and then maybe you'll just throw the whole thing out.
Well, essentially, yes. And like when you say it's a fable, well, then Jesus is a fable. So
He
nobody
is.
died for your sin.
Well,
Literally.
It's like being the snake in the garden and saying, "Didn't God say that you can eat of any tree in the garden?" That's like trying to read evolution into the Bible. It's deceitful. It's a lie. It's not true.
What part of
I
it
have
is
a
a
question.
lie?
Cindy, I have a
Wait,
question.
what isn't
I have a
true?
question for you. Even if evolution were true, how does that mean that Jesus couldn't have existed?
Well, if you're going to say that Genesis is a fairy tale or a fable, you could go farther, and people do go farther and say Jesus was a fairy tale and a fable.
But most historians
It is.
don't.
But that wasn't
It all
wasn't my
is.
question. Even if evolution is true, could it then still be true that Mary got impregnated and gave birth to Jesus?
Oh, I didn't understand your question. Well,
Yeah,
theoretically,
we lost
yes.
him.
Exactly.
But Jesus himself said that God made the earth in 6 days. Jesus said that. And so either he was
That
a
even
liar or
what?
he
Why
in
do you
fairy
think it was a
tales.
day of 24 hours? Where in the Bible does it say a day is 24 hours?
There was
It
evening and
says
there was morning the first day. That's pretty
Right.
descriptive.
So how
called
is
light
that
day. He
measured?
called the
How is
darkness
that
night.
measured?
How
How
are
is
there
that
days
measured
before
in
the
the Bible?
With light.
Can y'all
With
let
light.
me
With
try?
light.
How is that measured
With
in the
light.
Bible?
With light.
Evening and
With
morning,
light.
yeah. Yeah, the sun and the moon.
He called the day. He called the light day. He called
Right.
the
So how
darkness
did he
night.
lay down the measurement of what that was? That it was 24 hours.
Yeah.
Well,
It
honey,
did,
the
he doesn't. He
revelation
doesn't mention
didn't
24
change.
hours. He doesn't mention 24 hours. And why are we talking about this?
Right. So right. Exactly.
Good
That's
question.
my
He
point.
mentions
Good
So
question.
it's not
Today. How
indicated in
long?
the
How long is a day for God?
He
Is a
doesn't
day for
care what
God
we call
24
it.
right.
hours?
That's what I'm trying to explain. It's not shown in the Bible. It's not told in the Bible. It's only your
Exactly.
You're
human
trying. You're
interpretation
trying to
that is
put
telling you
evolution
it's
into the
24
Bible,
hours.
aren't you?
No.
I'm not trying anything.
We're,
It's
Well, he has a very
how
Gnostic
do you
interpretation.
tell me
so
where
it's
it
going to
says a
differ
day is
from you guys
24 hours in the
radically.
Bible?
right. It's fairy tale. It's just another fairy tale, just like evolution is.
What?
There's
That's
lots
not
of
what
I
he
didn't
said.
say it's
He's
a fairy
asking you a
tale.
question. Where
I'm
in the
not saying
Bible
it's a
does it
fairy
say that a
tale.
day is 24 hours? Can you tell us where?
Right.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
you
It
can
says that
Google the
light.
word day
He
and
made
you will.
light, and that's a
Yeah, he
day.
uses the word day, but where does
Yeah.
it explicitly state that that's a 24-hour period?
I don't need you to actually argue on my point because like I know what I'm doing here. I said that you
I
have to go into the
understand that,
Bible
but
to
it
talk
didn't
to her
seem like
because that's
they
where she
did. So
is.
I was just clarifying.
Well, according to
need you to clarify
their
it, though.
view of
I
Genesis,
know exactly what I'm
according to their
saying.
view of Genesis, God created the plant life before he created the sun. So according to their view, it would be okay for them to go a day without sunlight, but they couldn't possibly go thousands of years without sunlight unless you invoke.
Who said
No,
that?
why not?
That's
There
your
was
mental
no
interpretation.
death before.
That's
There
the
was no death
order of
before the
creation in
fall, so yeah,
Genesis.
they get to
I
survive.
think it's in the commandments too, in the Old Testament. You know,
Can
to
I
take a
ask
day of
Cindy a
rest. It doesn't
question?
say to take 1,000 days worth of rest or 1,000
Yeah, but
years
what
of
is a
rest.
day? What does a day mean? How much
And-
time
A
is a
day.
day? Yeah,
So
how
why
much
You like
time
we
is
that, huh?
all
that?
use the
You like
word
that.
How
day?
much?
You
How much?
There's
understood
light.
that
How
part,
much
huh?
time?
The sun
How
comes
much
up and
time
then
is
it
that?
goes
And how do we
down.
This
know?
guy.
The
Can I
sun
just
comes
ask
Yeah,
up
but
and it
how do
goes
we?
down.
But
Can I
first
just ask
day
Cindy a
was
question
before the
real
sun
quick?
was created. So how did they define day
Go
before
ahead,
the
Jen.
sun
Talk
was
over
Because
her.
there
created?
was
Well,
light and then
Maybe.
it went away.
Where was
guys,
that
I'm
light
going to
coming
interrupt.
from?
I'm going to interrupt everybody here.
He's literally
Because
trying to argue my point for me.
Hi, Amy.
No, I'm not.
Woo-hoo. What is up, y'all?
Then shut up.
I am actually enjoying the conversation and the back and forth, though I was actually going to let whoever was just talking finish their point. Just give me 1 second, because what we're going to do is we're going to switch James and myself out for Bree, which means we are handing the car keys over to the asylum. And so, however, I'm very car keys. However, I know that we have wonderful mods all throughout this channel on here
Amy.
who are going to
Amy, all of us are technical savvy. We all have keyless entry by now. There are no keys.
I have a key. Jen wanted
Our
to
keys
say
are our thumbs.
So I'll let if Jen had something to say, I'm gonna let her ask it. I'm gonna let someone respond to it. But then I really, Jen, is it true? Did you have something?
Yeah, it was just real quick. If I could summarize your argument that evolution means that there's change. Change means that it's that whatever it was, that's somehow a violation of perfection. Maybe I don't have it spot on, but is that kind of the argument?
No, obviously we have change, but the magnitude of change is where the argument is. And using millions of years of death and suffering to
Billions.
create is
Billions.
not the kind of a God that I believe the Bible represents.
Right, but where does it say that in the Bible,
actually,
though?
No,
Where does it say that in the Bible?
Hold on to that for just 1 second, because as soon as we go back into it, we're going to go back full stream into it. And I don't mind if you guys go back there, guys and gals. However,
Go back where, Amy?
back
Hello.
in the spice zone.
No, I know.
And that, and there are two people that are officially working on the knees, and as I like to call them, they have the new Hall of Famer, and that is Christian debaters who debate pantsless. It's a very specific category. However, there is now more than one, and so I feel like it can have a category.
Christian debaters that debate pantsless?
Oh yeah.
Yes, like Gavin No Mas Pantalones Herleman.
Yeah, Gavin Herleman.
Thanks for sharing, Amy. That was so special.
He debates in his underwear while debating a young woman. Just let that sink in.
And we are, and then once again, I'm going to do my magical clearing of the air. Peter, you were the last to talk, so you're volunteered for me to just do this right there for 30 seconds. Bree, welcome. We have been Midnight Ranting on creationism or evolution. I hope you're doing well tonight. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we have been talking about? And I will give a reminder, James and I are now handing the keys over. Let the spice be real. Bree, what are your thoughts? Creationism versus evolution.
Okay, so my position is... My position is one of evolution, so I'm definitely on that side of the debate. But I do find it interesting and nice when we run into some creationists who are open to engage with us about these topics. So thank you, Cindy, for giving us a show tonight. I did have some questions for you, just about some of your understandings about our methodology of classifying life. Are you familiar with nested cladistics?
No.
Okay.
Well, the nested hierarchy.
Yeah,
the tree of life.
You can put it as a nested hierarchy. Hierarchy. I don't like that terminology because it kind of informs that the one is moving towards something better, whereas it's really just going in whatever direction it can survive in that ecology. So that's kind of how the nesting works, because you have a central group that has certain traits, and they will move into different environments or be subject to different pressures that'll favor other traits within that group, and then so they'll all be still within that same wider group, but they'll be in a little subgroup within that, and it's just that expanded all the way out to the entire kingdom of life. Is there something in that system of classification that just to you says, no, this can't be right? Or is it just that it disagrees with your biblical worldview?
Again, I think it's the macro versus micro. And I know that Aron was trying to say that we use macro incorrectly, but again, within a species, you're going to get what you were saying. Different environmental pressures are going to make, maybe a brown-haired rabbit or a white-haired rabbit.
Okay,
but you're never going to go from a rabbit to something else. And then Aron would say, well,
okay. So what are
never leave the species. And so I'm like, well, then how do you go from a cell to a human?
What are the physiological traits that differentiate one kind from another? Though that's the question I have, because we'll have groups within groups, like we were talking about. Like you'll have, cats and dogs are both in carnivora, and they both have traits that are similar that show, to me and to our model, common ancestry. They have physiological traits, and as Loraisatherians, as this group of mammals that evolved in Asia and in North America when they were a single unit.
I think you meant to say you are contact. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, you contact liars. So yeah, we'll have these different groups that all share different features, and we'll, and humans come into those groups when we get to a certain point. So where do we draw the lines on that? Where do we say that? Because we can look at these clades radiating out across these different geographical areas through generations. Because when we look at the fossil record, we're not just looking at the bones of this animal or that animal or this tooth or that insect trapped in amber. We're looking at an entire ecology. It's not just those bones. There's things around them. There's pollen. There's things that may be in their stomach that they ate. There is the soil around them. There is the particulates in their teeth. All these different things that we learn about the ecology and the world that they lived in, and what those pressures and how they changed them. So, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you look at the world today and you look at pressures that are changing things, you don't see the changes that are on that Smithsonian tree of life, where it goes from a simple life form to a more complex life form.
Yes, we do.
There's
Cindy,
certain life forms that stay.
Bree, if I can interrupt really quick. Cindy, we do. Check out the silver fox experiment, where they tried to breed foxes for tameness, because they were pretty violent animals and they were harvested for their fur, so they wanted them to be tame. They ended up with something that is no longer a fox.
This was
wouldn't identify it as a fox.
It's not.
Went over
It's
the
not.
original debate. She still ain't got it.
It's still within a kind.
So what do you mean by kind?
It's a different animal.
This is going to be the pivotal point in this discussion. This is the pivotal point in this discussion. What do you mean by kind?
So, like a dog and a cat, are they carnivora? Is that a kind? Is that the same kind that they're in together?
No.
What about a bear? Is a bear in there?
In other words, just because they're all mammals doesn't mean they have a common ancestor.
Well, between these groups, though, there's more than just them being mammals. We're talking about carnivora, so we have a certain array of scent glands within their bodies, their morphology, the way they develop in their embryos, and the way they carry their young, the way that they raise their young. There's a lot of crossover with carnivora, especially the scent gland thing, because we see that across the spectrum, and all of them. They have this very specific pattern of scent glands and specific patterns of teeth. And we all know that teeth are like diagnostic. Teeth are what you can tell what a species is from its teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I show my screen?
Mm-hmm. I don't mind Amy's.
Brain bug, is that you?
Here, how do you
What's
do that?
I said, is that brain bug?
I don't go by that.
Hive science now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know. I haven't.
No, it's all good.
You still do the bugs?
I don't know. I have them all right here.
I do the bugs. Study the bugs. Sorry.
No, it's kind of dark in here right now. I just actually got things set up. Hold on.
Can you guys see that?
No. Wait. Yes.
There.
Okay, this is the tree of life that
Well,
I
that's a very, very,
think-
very simplistic image of
Oh
it.
my
Yes.
god, this is for
and
like
you'll
2-year-olds.
see that
That's what I'm saying, man. This is like
This is for 2-year-olds, Cindy.
Yeah, you're saying that like it's a bad thing. If a 2-year-old can understand it, I'd say that's an accomplishment.
no, you're an adult,
Can I
dude.
finish, please?
Let her say
I'm not
please,
going to
please.
talk long. I'm not going to talk long, but I would like to finish. So when I saw this, there's so much difference between everything on there. A jellyfish is
Right.
not going to turn into a seaweed.
No,
A
nobody.
snail
and
is
that's,
not going to turn into a scorpion. They're
that's true.
all.
Yeah,
would
why not though?
say it's an orchard. Okay, there's the
Cindy, that
family
is
of
just because
jellyfish.
Cindy, that is just because not everything is on there. If everything would be on there, you would need several pages for that.
Well,
Yeah,
specific
you would
tree.
cover the earth.
Is that there's so much difference between the major families that they don't.
Mhm.
There's no common ancestor. There's no need for a common
Yes,
ancestor.
So
there is.
if we're drawing the line at the family level, though, then we are like the same. We're apes then, because that's
Great
we're the same
apes, yep.
family. Yeah, and in dogs and they would all be dogs and foxes would all be in the same.
Well, I would make the distinction that just like there's a lot of difference between the ladybug and the fern, there's a lot of difference between the human and the ape. They're not. You can't go have
Cindy,
sex
can
with
I
an
ask?
ape.
Can
have a
I ask
baby.
you an honest question relating to the debate?
No one says that though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because Aron asked you, and he asked you and Sal several times. I know why Sal won't answer. You said I don't have to answer.
Yeah.
But in all these years of doing science, why has no single creation scientist come up with the original created kinds, or even the kinds that were on the ark?
Exactly.
I know
Or even
why.
define what a kind
because
is.
I really don't
I
understand
know
why
why.
that's such a big deal.
That is
It's the
that is
most
a
big
big
deal.
Hold on. This is a big deal because you know why no one will answer that question. Why none of the
I can.
creation science
can't, Bubble.
organizations won't address this.
I
That is
can.
because the moment they do, they have to accept evolution, because there's no way ever that all of the animals would have fitted on the ark. And if that is the case, then by definition, you would have a turbo mega evolution happening after Noah's flood. In order to get just the animals,
let Cindy respond.
in order to get just the animals that we see today. And I'm not even talking about the animals that have gone extinct since.
Cindy, I can answer
Like-
this for you. Let her answer.
No, I'm
Let
asking
Cindy
Cindy, so you can't answer a question that I asked Cindy.
No, I'm offering
impossible.
to answer this. I'm
Because you're
answering
not
this- to answer
Cindy.
this-
Bubble.
I see the
Bubble,
connection
you're not
now.
Cindy.
All right. Let's
To answer this
let
for
Cindy
Cindy.
respond, and we'll let Cindy
No,
respond.
I'm
and
not
then
allowing
Bubble
you
can-
to answer this. This was a
Let-
question for
Peter,
Cindy.
Peter, let Cindy respond.
I
Yeah.
see the connection now, because you're saying that there's only so much evolution that could have taken place from the time of the ark. That's
Yes.
why this is important to you.
Mhm.
Yes, it's the most
Yes.
important for
Now-
your side.
It is.
I've already you've objected to what I've said already, which is fine, that I don't feel the need to answer that. And I feel that there are other things in your arguments that you don't feel the need to answer as well. Like,
That's wrong. I will answer every question that I
Sure about
that
that,
I can
Peter?
answer.
This is
One at a
hilarious.
time, guys.
I will answer any question that I can answer. The
Well,
thing
no,
is,
like,
the thing
you
is,
say, like,
why
you
do
don't-
you think that you don't have to answer the question? If you're putting forward a model, why don't you think that you have to explain the model?
This
Well,
is your foremost prediction.
Hold on. Cindy made a claim. We need to give her a chance to back that up. What she's
You're right,
saying.
you're right.
Okay. Yeah.
You're right.
So she said that there's positions that someone who's a evolutionary believer would not want to talk about. What are you referring to?
Okay, tonight Aron made at least 2 of them. He said that we don't know how abiogenesis happened. We don't know how the prokaryote went to a eukaryote, that was a non-evolutionary transfer.
Yep.
And that we don't understand how all these things happened. And he didn't have a problem.
That's not correct. That's not what he said, because I know Aron's position on this. So I know that Aron knows that there are at least 12 working hypotheses for abiogenesis, which could have happened, or could all have happened at the same time.
But would Aron say, "I know"? Though I don't think Aron would.
Aron would not say, "I know how it happened,"
but here's a working model.
because he would be lying if he said.
Yeah.
I believe he specifically said that he didn't know.
He doesn't.
I mean, I would hope he would acknowledge that. None of us was there.
Yeah, no one knows. But we do know that abiogenesis is possible because we have 12 working hypotheses on how it could happen. And we have seen...
That's a non sequitur.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, that's not.
It's a direct sequitur.
That is not.
You have 12 possibilities, but not all.
No, not possibilities. Hold on, not possibilities. Working hypotheses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those working hypotheses are possible.
And the important word in this is working. They work.
None of them are saying it's fact.
All of them
There's
get
not
you
12 ways that you can make inanimate turn to animate.
Yes, there is.
What does that even mean?
No, there isn't. I think we're getting into a language situation here where we're talking past each other. So to clarify, when they say working hypothesis, they mean that there are natural recipes, I guess you would call them, that we can speculate on, such as like this forming at thermal vents at the bottom of the ocean, or in tidal regions with wet dry cycles, different things like that. And of course, we've had the RNA first world and things like that as well. That there are multiple ideas about how this happens, but none of them, like Leo was saying, none of them have all the math in order now to be because then it wouldn't be just a hypothesis anymore.
Right, it would be a fact, correct?
I think a working hypothesis.
Well, theories aren't facts. Theories incorporate facts.
On it.
Correct. But we have at least one thing that has happened on several occasions where RNA has formed spontaneously.
No.
When it wasn't even the goal of the experiment, it was a side effect where they noticed that RNA had formed spontaneously.
Okay, let's say you have some RNA.
That is already going from
organism, a system.
That is already
Peter,
going from organic.
Come on.
I just want to explain. This is going from organic matter to a self-replicating molecule, which is one of the basic building blocks of life.
Let's say you have some RNA. Okay, is it going to develop into a system that has a digestive tract, a breathing tract?
Okay, no.
Don't need. Well, it can, but we don't need that at the beginning.
It doesn't. RNA.
Well, it could, but we don't need that at the outset. So why does it matter?
No,
we don't need that at the outset.
It doesn't. It doesn't, Cindy. But what it does do, RNA is one of the things that makes DNA. Once you have DNA,
negative, Peter.
Bubble, shut up.
Doesn't it?
Shut up, Bird.
It doesn't survive on its own. It does.
It does.
Life form.
That was what they discovered after the experiment. So we have after the experiment we had DNA. Can you shut up for a second? Can you shut up for a second? After that experiment, we had RNA, which is a self-replicating molecule, and it's self-replicated. That means that it survives.
How long?
Imaginary story, bro.
And
How
we've had
long?
this on multiple occasions. If you Google spontaneous forming RNA, you can find the papers that talk about this. And there
You
are
said
more
how
than
long?
one.
You asked how long
provide a
does it
link.
survive for? Long enough for there to be a 10,000-fold reproduction in RNA catalyzed products.
Yes.
And it has to be understood that
Yeah, and then when they tried to seed RNA replicating life, it all reverted to DNA. Remember that when they did that huge meta-analysis, and it's never been established that RNA can actually self-replicate under any conditions, and you're presupposing your
Well,
own
that's
conclusion.
false. I can cite you
Yeah,
literature
that's
right now.
false.
Would you like me to?
You're presupposing that things go from being less complex to more, but if you look at the length
No,
of
that has nothing to do with any of this literature I can cite.
incredibly long, incredibly long DNA code. What is your logic that RNA magically?
Well, you said RNA, not DNA.
What's your logic behind RNA has to evolve into DNA? Go.
Well, that wasn't the claim
doesn't
that I was
evolve
addressing.
into
The
DNA.
claim that you said that RNA has never been observed to be self-replicating.
RNA-based replication
explicitly
in
false.
isolation has never been established.
An RNA enzyme that catalyzes the RNA template joining of RNA was converted to a format whereby two enzymes catalyze each other's synthesis from a total of 4 component
he's reading the
substrates.
citation. Give him
These
a second.
cross-replicating RNA enzymes were optimized so that they can undergo self-sustained exponential amplification at a constant temperature and in the absence of proteins or other biological materials. You are objectively wrong. We've done this in the lab. I can cite multiple published peer-reviewed articles on this. How many do you
Give me
want?
that link. Give me that link, Leo.
Just show me one RNA-based life form. One. Show me that it's possible.
We are RNA-based life.
No, we are not. We are DNA.
Yes, we are.
Leo.
Hold on. Let me ask one question to you, Bubbles. What carries the information from the DNA to the ribosome?
Way to presuppose your own conclusion.
No. I'm asking Bubbles a question, so I want to hear an answer from Bubbles. What carries the information from the DNA to the ribosome?
I would like to hear Ness's opinion on this.
I still want to hear Bubbles' answer to this question, though.
You need to presuppose DNA.
No. I'm asking you a question.
Yes, you do, Leo. Leo, I'm answering your question.
What carries the information in the DNA to the ribosome? What does that? Give me the name of the molecule that does it, Bubbles.
Leo, you need to presuppose.
What is the name of that molecule?
Leo,
what is the name of that molecule? No, you're not.
Yes, I am, Leo.
You're talking about presuppositions. I'm not asking you about that. So you're not answering the question.
Leo.
Do you need me to recapitulate the question?
Hey,
do you not understand the question?
Stop.
I think you're trying to shut me down.
I'm not. I'm just trying to ensure that you actually answer the question.
Leo
It's
is
the
not
same
going to
problem
say
as
it because if he's going to say it, he's going to prove you right.
Exactly.
That is why he's not going to say it.
Exactly, but just for the audience sake, it's mRNA, messenger RNA, ribonucleic acid.
Okay, so what you just proved
that's what carries the information from DNA to the ribosome. tRNAs are what bring the what bring the amino acids to the ribosome to be turned into the polypeptide chain to become proteins. And the ribosome itself is a mass of RNAs. Life is almost entirely still RNA based. DNA is just the information storage unit. Everything else is almost entirely RNAs. So we are RNA based life. That's what we are.
And blood, you sure? So blood is mostly made out of RNA. Is that right? Or cells.
Look at the way you're trying to extrapolate the things I never said.
Leo, there is no RNA without DNA first. It's the same problem as the type isomerase. Yes, there is.
I think Peter already showed that's not
question.
It's actually not true because the way our cells make DNA is by making RNA first. Like it's the Okazaki fragments, basic biochemistry.
Okay, but the point being, you have to have it all.
What do you mean?
You have to have RNA,
No, you
DNA,
don't.
messenger
No, you
DNA.
don't.
You have to have the cell that
No,
it
you
lives in. You have to have it all.
No, you don't. Here, let
No, you don't.
Pure RNA by itself.
me read you this. This is from the Publications of the National Academy of Sciences by David Horning and Gerald Joyce, two titans in Origins of Life research. They say here, quote, the improved polymerase ribozyme, which is an RNA, is able to synthesize a variety of complex structured RNAs, including aptamers, ribozymes, and in low yield, even tRNA. Furthermore, the polymerase can replicate nucleic acids, amplifying short RNA templates by more than 10,000-fold in an RNA catalyzed form of the PCR. Thus, the two prerequisites of Darwinian life, the replication of genetic information and its conversion into functional molecules, can now be accomplished with RNA in the complete absence of proteins. No, you don't need all of this stuff. We know you don't need all of this stuff. We've shown in the lab you do not need all of this stuff.
What good
And I
does
can
it
I
have
can I can put the
RNA
link to
by
this in the
itself
chat
then?
as well.
Yeah, give me
You
the
don't
link.
seem to understand that you're manufacturing evidence for a foregone conclusion. And you're trying to test your own conclusion by virtue of the data
Manufacturing
that
it.
you're gathering.
So
You
Jen,
don't
when I
seem to
manufacture
understand.
this evidence, is it reproductive labor? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll shut up. I'll shut
Okay.
up.
I would appreciate that the mockery would go. I would like to keep this as facts or statements being exchanged respectfully. I'm about.
The point is that he doesn't even understand that science is about prediction. So if this model was so magically predictive, we'd
Oh, I
have
don't
some
understand
prediction rather than
science.
trying to go and test what he's doing right now is trying to
not
test
his
his
model.
axiom. And
What are
if
you
have a
talking
model
about? What
generating
axiom
an
did I
axiom,
propose?
You can't
Will
test
you-
the axiom and
What
in a
axiom?
valid way. Could you let me finish maybe sometime? That'd be wonderful because these
Well, it's just
incredible.
asking
Well, but you're
Things have to
caricaturing my
go to
position.
the
Okay.
level on which the number of
I don't have the
mistakes
right
you've
to
made
clarify
in your
my own
reasoning
Leo,
position.
let them
really
talk.
hard to
Oh my
explain.
God.
How wrong you are is actually staggeringly complex.
What am
and
I wrong
confusing
about?
me. If
Leo,
you could
let her
stop
finish.
interrupting me, it might become a little bit more clear. Because all you're doing right now is
You're
repeating
not
stuff
explaining
you've
anything,
memorized,
but
and it sounds
sure,
like
continue to
Holy
gibberate.
shit, Leo, can you just like not talk?
Do you want me to explain it again, or do we want to take
You
a
didn't.
pause?
Well, you didn't explain where I
Understand
was
it
wrong or
because
how.
you
You didn't. You
keep
said
getting
something about an
interrupted.
axiom, but what axiom is it that I presented? You just
Leo,
made a
can
bunch
you
of basic
not talk?
claims and
Holy shit,
said
dude.
completely caricatured my position, and then when I'm trying to get you to explain what it is that I said that's wrong, that's your
You
claim.
won't even let them
What
explain, Leo.
axiom
You gonna shut
it
up?
is
Nobody
Hey,
said anything when you
you
were
claim
talking.
that I said, and you're just not explaining it. So
James
give me the
and
axiom
Amy,
that I'm
does
trying to
somebody
prove.
have a mute
And tell me
button?
that I was
Leo.
wrong about
Okay,
what it is that I
Leo.
was wrong about.
Leo, let her explain what she means. Jen, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Bumblebee. Look, this is an incredibly complicated subject here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't make sense right away, but just bear with me, okay? So the idea with science is you have a model, it makes predictions, you can validate them. The predictions are worth something because it actually tells you something about the future that you want to know. Right now, we're trying to talk about whether DNA pre-exists RNA and whether it's reasonable to think that RNA pre-exists DNA. And right now, you're saying, look at this experiment that got done that validates this presupposition in my materialist doctrine. And I'm trying to say that, look, the whole point of science is you need to not talk. Whoever's getting, I don't know who's huffing right now, but please, this is extremely complicated to validate here. This is a topic I find a lot of people don't understand, that you can't prove an axiom because an axiom is a thing that makes proof.
Okay, guys, just
Like,
if
honestly,
you can't control
this
yourself, just
hyena
mute, let her
laughing
finish
is
her
like,
piece.
I
She's
get
got the
it.
floor.
You're getting BTFO'd by my position. It sucks to be
No,
wrong.
you haven't.
Practice
Leo,
sense where
Leo,
everywhere you zoom in on your
mute.
position, you're equally wrong as every other position.
Jen,
But
enough.
You haven't
let's just
outlined
go
what
ahead.
axiom it
Jen,
is
Get
that I
go ahead
through
with your.
presented that I'm wrong about. So
Leo,
how are you?
mute.
How am I getting
The
BTF?
idea is that if this was actually a scientific model, we'd be looking at stuff saying, oh, look, all these predictions and how accurate they are, rather than let's
That's
go
exactly what they
editing
did. Did you
data
examine the
and try to
literature I
cherry
provided?
pick to
No, I
find
don't think you
something.
did.
Shut
Leo,
up!
let her
Right.
finish with her.
Other than let's
Right.
go out into
She
the
has
data
the
and try to
floor.
talk.
cherry pick
I
just don't
something
know why
that
we
tells
just.
us the conclusion that we've built
Okay.
into our model in the first place, which is that things, I think, get more complex with time. That's
So what does that
somehow
have to do with anything that anybody said?
You
that
are so
it's
rude.
not
And Jen
scientific
does not talk
because you're
that much, and
using
you
the
have
method
talked
that is
like 40
supposedly
minutes.
justified by virtue of the strength of the predictions it makes. You're saying, here's my predictor. It's so weak that
I
it
don't
doesn't
know
actually
what you're
tell me
talking
anything, and I
about.
got to go out and cherry pick the data so that it looks like my predictor might not be wrong. And I'm
What are you
saying that's
talking? What do you mean
actually
by
not what
predictor?
science is. Your
Dude,
axiom.
you can't
iterated
possibly.
What is
times.
my
Sorry.
you keep saying
Axiom,
my
iterated,
axiom?
that's
What
okay,
is
okay,
my
listen
axiom?
to me, listen
What
to me. In
axiom
math,
have I
you
talked
have
about?
axioms in math, and then you iterate
okay.
those axioms a bunch of times, and then you get what? Shapes, okay? You
What are you
understand that
talking
concept?
about?
Okay.
See, I love how
I
people can
want to
say, well,
stop
you're
talking
doing
about this
this
right
and
now
you're
because these are
saying
not,
this,
look,
and
this
then
is
they
not
don't
something
explain
that
it when I
I
ask.
can
Amy,
But then
can you
I'm
mute
the one
Leo?
who's
on
in
this
the
call
wrong.
right now who could understand what I'm saying honestly, and I appreciate the people who are listening in good faith, but I don't think this is maybe the venue for this convo. But thanks, and hopefully we can. I can just see the floor. Somebody else. Awesome. Thank you so
Jen,
much.
Jen, I
can
wish
we,
Yeah,
can we get
thank
some
you.
clarification
I'm really
on some of the
sorry.
things that were said?
Yeah, I
Just
apologize. That sucks.
just to keep the to carry the levity of the conversation. When you say the axioms, are you talking about the axioms of like evolutionary worldview? Is that the, like you go with the presupposition that there's an evolutionary origins to DNA? Is that the precept that you're talking about? Is an axiom?
Yeah, you got it. So it's
Okay.
like, how does the scientific method actually implement the methodology associated with it?
Hey, Jen, you're echoing pretty good.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, so what I would say there is that, as far as the genetics of tracing or the origins of life, there's more to it than just the genetics, because we had models or ideas about the way that life developed, into what directions that the organisms went to form these different branches of the tree of life. I mean, the tree of life the idea of the tree of life precedes genetics. So then when we look at genetics, and we are going into that with this foundation of what we already know from things like the fossil records, the ice cores, things like that. We know about the environments of the early Earth. So we come into that with an idea of how these things developed and changed over time, what is expected to happen from what we see in the current model and what we see in real time now, in the way things change as we watch them in the lab. Now, so we do come into this, and we step into the conversation with these preconceptions about the way that these things are going to work, even under laboratory conditions, well before genetics were even understood, before DNA was ever a thing. We had these ideas. So when we came into understanding DNA, is it wrong that we came into that with the presupposition that we are looking for at RNA origins to this molecule?
Well, there's more than one supposition in there. There's DNA is the basis of life.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but as far as I understand the logic underlying the idea that we evolved, the DNA evolved from RNA, is that RNA is less complex than DNA.
No, not really.
I don't know that that's explicitly asserted, but sometimes something doesn't need to be explicitly asserted to be technically true.
Well, RNA has it can get it is more simple, in its form, but I believe it can make more complex structures though than what we can expect a DNA strand to make, right? I mean,
because you're talking about.
No, hush.
Yes, I do. It's because
you
you're talking
don't.
about a leap from going from RNA to DNA. So there's like a very big evolutionary gap.
Well, there are actually two chemical changes from RNA to DNA. Like there's basically an oxygen gets removed, and also what's that again? The uracil gets turned into a thymine, and that's basically I think it's a methylation, if I'm not mistaken. Two chemical changes from the RNA to DNA, and also RNA is actually capable of forming very complex structures. Like the ribosome is an RNA structure, and DNA is mostly double helix.
That's the thing. Do you know the typoisomerase problem?
Sal talked about it in the debate. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, basically you need the typoisomerase to basically untangle the DNA.
You need, like when your DNA is very long and circular, I think you need the typoisomerase to have to avoid the knotting, the topology problems. Yes.
Yeah, which is basically all the time.
But it's only when you have like large strands of DNA, and if you have very short strands, then you don't need that.
Well, that's the thing. If you want to get life, you're gonna need long strands of DNA. Oh, do you think you just do DNA with like what 3 bases?
You don't even know what that
No.
means. What are you talking about?
Here's the thing. Like, I
He
think
means
that a
space
lot
base.
of people kind of have this idea that God is a magician acting out extra universally to create life. Does anyone actually think that it's something like that that's going on?
That's
Can you say
exactly
that
what I was
again,
saying
Jer?
from the beginning. That hey, it's not that it's a magician. It's not that it's just this infinite being that just can do things. It's a freaking. I don't want to call it alien because you know people kind of trip out about that. But it's an advanced life that is more advanced than us that has to access the technology that we don't have access to in order to create life.
What's the
on
evidence
Well,
for
that
that,
just
though?
pushes it life back one more step, though, because an alien has to have an origins itself. I mean,
Yeah,
right,
It had to start from
right.
something.
That's right. But how would an ant comprehend what a human civilization is?
We don't know. We're not ants.
What makes
What are
you
you
think
talking
that you will
about?
actually know? What I'm talking about is that yes, it pushes it back, but why do you think that you have access to what it actually is? What makes you
Oh
think
no,
that you should
This is
know
silly.
what your actual God is?
This is
I'm
silly.
Because he came to
accepting,
What is
Earth and he
silly?
wrote
my
a book.
cosmic horror of a deity. Bring on the
Well, I
The
think it's
only
good to be
way
I'm sorry,
skeptical.
too many people were talking.
I try to be really skeptical of my perceptions with regards to divinity because I am, ant like relative to God, I guess.
Did you want to comment on that, Cindy? I think you had something to say.
I was gonna say, but oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Let Cindy talk, and then if you want to say something after that.
I
Bubba.
just remember being really upset that God didn't show himself. And how are we supposed to know if he doesn't show himself?
Has he showed himself to
And
you?
when
Let
I
her
found
finish.
out that
She'll get
Jesus
there.
was God come to earth, I was like, yes, he came.
Like,
Oh, I can answer that for you, Cindy.
not a true story.
You're not even a
I'm not gonna
Christian.
go
How can you
for
answer that?
somebody who
Yeah,
believes
because
a story about
I'm still a theist.
magical man.
Okay, Cindy, you need to be holy to get in touch with the holy. There's a reason in ancient times people went through what the Muslims go through fasting. They go through a process. It's not just a couple of prayers and then God shows up. Have you ever seen the movie?
That's just woo woo. I think
That's
Bubba
theist.
was trying to
It's
say-
us theist talking. I'm talking Cindy.
Okay.
So
well,
I'm talking to
somebody
Cindy.
else is trying to talk.
I
hasn't got to talk
barely
very much.
started. I have barely talked to this whole thing. Okay, so you ever seen the
Wrap up
you
your
ever
point,
seen,
Bubba.
you ever seen the movie Dark Song?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, watch the movie Dark Song. It's not just a couple of prayers away. You have to go through a cleansing. You have to be holy to be in the presence of
What are
holy.
you talking about?
Honey, I didn't
Bubba,
say
she's
a
a
prayer
mainline
to
Christian.
make
She's
God
not going to
come.
be using
Okay,
keyboards. And,
Okay,
and
He's
what's
talking about the
I'm-
concept. Look, everybody, if we could just not all pile on at once, the concept that God is self-occluded and not self-revealed. Maybe that's more along the lines of what you're trying to say.
Well, when he's talking
yeah,
about
no,
doing the
I'm talking about-
ayahuasca, he's talking about connecting with your higher self, and ultimately, that's the
No,
true
I'm
nature.
not.
Okay,
No, I'm
what are you
not.
talking
Oh my
about?
God.
Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
talking-
What are they
because she wants-
cleansing? What are they cleansing for?
Because she wants to get in communication with God, and I'm telling you, it's not just like, oh, I could just do a couple prayers, go to church
No,
once
I
a
didn't
once
say
a week.
that, honey. I used to feel that way before
That's
I
the thing,
knew that he
it's not.
came down.
There's a reason the Muslims or like do this fasting thing and all this cleansing. Because in ancient times, that's exactly what they did. They had to be holy to be in
You're
the
not even
presence of
Muslim,
holy.
Bubble.
I'm a theist, so they had to be holy to be in the presence of holy. So
And
they
what's
went
your
through
God?
fast. So
What's
they
your
went
God?
through fast. Bird, I'm talking Cindy. So they had to cleanse themselves. It
Well,
was
this is ridiculous because it
fasting.
didn't
No,
even matter to her.
I'm talking to
let him
Cindy.
let him finish first. Let him
his
just finish.
thought.
And
Sorry,
so they
Jake.
went through this fasting. They went like no sex because they were cleansing themselves to be holy, so they could be in the presence of holy. So watch the movie. It's called The Dark Song, and it's basically like that.
And so I just want to jump in because we're about to get Rubik's. They're probably going to be our last person because we have about, well, we still have about 30 or 40 minutes left. If you would like to join, I do want to send love out there to all of our interlocutors. I know it got super spicy. I still want to send love out to Leophilius out there if he's still paying attention. I still want to send love, first of all, to Cindy Linking for special guest hosting with us and enduring the lion's cage of skeptics. But we are going to once again, hopefully with calmness, but I do enjoy the back and forth. We're going to hand the keys back over. We're going to get rubrics in, but
I was about to hop out.
All right. Okay. Well, in that case, Bubble, I'll hand it over to you to say your outro, and then we'll get rubrics in.
Yeah, can I just show like a 10-second video? It's not copyrighted.
10-second video?
Yeah.
What is it, like a TikTok?
No.
James is saying
no.
Well, we're worried just because if you could show other content,
just put it in the link. How about that?
Then what exactly is it?
Oh, it's a video from what's it? Answers in Atheism. Do you know that guy? No. Yeah, I think it is. That's his name. Yeah, Speed of Sound.
What do you think, James? I see you going no.
Just put it in the private chat and we can look at it at our leisure.
I don't think we need to watch videos. We can talk.
It's from Speed of Sound.
If
it's
10 seconds, he can just say what it's about.
Yeah.
It's the Speed of Sound video. Do you not trust Speed of Sound?
Just say what it is, Bubble.
Why don't you say what's in the video?
Because I want him to say.
We've gone more than 10 seconds and we still don't know what the video is about.
It's Speed of Sound.
You've said that 12 times. So what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what Speed of Sound is.
We don't have to watch it because it's just a 10-second video that shows speed, so we don't have to watch it.
Is it going to be medical misinformation?
Do you think
it's probably going to be some stupid gotcha that he said out of context and Bubbles thought it was funny?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. No, it's not.
There's well, if you can't say what it's about, then we don't have to see it.
Didn't you and I still have something else going on, Bree?
No. Are you afraid Speed of Sound is going to say something negative?
Yes.
No, it's just we've had. I think James and I are a little bit more wary because we've had people come that have ruined our.
Put it in the private chat.
Well, I never done that.
All right,
I'm
gonna for better or for worse.
Oh, Amy.
No. I know you're. But I'm looking at your screen. It's not the video.
It's going to be something that's completely out of context, and
it's
going to. It's going to be some kind of claim. It's going to be some kind of claim that he didn't make.
Cindy, if we finish our conversation here, we run in the same circles. I know a lot of your friends, so I'll get a hold of you.
What are you trying to show us?
Thanks, hon.
There's kind of a war and a little bit of a tug going on in the medical community now that evolutionary biologists are saying you need to look at cancer as a population of evolving organisms. And the medical community has not been used to speaking that.
This is out of context, Amy. Don't get in trouble.
I mean, this has nothing to do with the conversation, Amy.
Treatment and
that's way more than 10 seconds. So we're done. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's supposed to. I don't think. I want to.
Thanks for lying, Bubble.
Its own evolving population inside of your body.
Turn it off.
And it has its own need.
And we are going to, because I do. I once again, I wanted to give you a shot. I try to give people shots when a lot of other people don't. So there was the 10 seconds, but I do really want to get a good conversation. It sounded like Cindy and Bree were having, and no,
it wasn't out of context, and I'm out. That was all.
Yes, it was. Thanks for lying.
No, it wasn't.
It had nothing to do with the conversation either.
No,
Bo.
I'm calling out your.
We know that for next time. We know that for next time we want to show a video.
No, I was calling you out, Peter.
Thanks for lying.
All right, thank you. Instead, I'm going to do this.
Are we bringing Rubik in?
We are. I am going to just do this because I have to clear this. So, I don't know if anyone knows out there, but there is a fantastic channel called Answers in Atheism. If anyone would like to check them out, their page is on the screen. That's our lovely Speed of Sound and his right-hand man who also hangs out with us on here on Scott Duke. So go check out Answers in Atheism. Said to love, though, to all of our interlocutors. I'm getting, looks like P-Town dropped, and we got him back, and we're going to get Rubik's in. Oh, and I'm going. So once again, we're handing, well, James is staying in. So, Rubrics.
Hi.
Welcome. We
Hi,
are
Rubrics. Hello.
Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. I hope that you are doing well. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
So my background is in anthropology, and I had a heavy focus in my undergraduate on the biological anthropology and human origins.
Awesome.
And I actually was very fortunate to take a class taught by Dr. Owen Lovejoy. He is phenomenal, by the way. But for those who are on the creation side, do you agree that speciation exists?
Can you specify exactly what you mean by that, honey?
Microevolution, or such as the kinds becoming other kinds.
Hey, Rubis, real quick, can you turn off your speakers if you can, because you're echoing?
Oh, I do not know.
Okay, just go ahead and try it, and let's see how it sounds.
Yeah, because I'm on a headphones mic. I can move my mic away.
I don't hear it echo.
I believe that.
Sorry, maybe it's just me.
Rubik's, check echo cancellation in StreamYard. That might do the trick.
Okay, and we'll while she's doing that, I think Cindy had an answer.
It's enabled.
Yeah, there you go. You're good now.
Saying about
it's fine. Cat. It's fine. Go ahead, Cindy.
Speciation. I'm really not familiar with the terms, but a cat can give birth to different kinds of cats. A dog can give birth to different kinds of dogs, but the two are not related.
Okay. So would you say you look very different than your ancestors from about 250 to 500 generations ago?
Well, we would still be human.
But would you look very different, though?
Yeah. But not different enough to become an ape.
Humans are classified as apes, but that's another story. So, all those small changes over 250 generations, do that thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times.
Well, I understand the concept, but I think it's illogical.
But what I'm saying is, so you have, say, species A, and 1 million generations, all those small changes makes it look like a completely different species. It's the accumulation of small changes over time that makes species A look very different than the following species, millions of thousands and to millions of generations later. Evolution does not claim all of a sudden a dinosaur lays a chicken egg. It's very small changes, the accumulation of such over time.
I'm familiar with that, sweetheart. It's just that I don't care how far back you're going, you're still going to be in the same kind.
Can I interject for a moment? Like, I'm a frequent editor for a channel called Jackson Reid. I help with its videos, and we recently put out a video on. It's called the hippo style. You also mentioned some species regarding horse and rhinos. Horses and rhinos turns out are actually closely related, although of course Sydney will probably disagree.
Tapirs too.
Yeah, the tapirs too, yeah. But the point that Jackson made in that video was that when you look at the ancient relatives of horses and also at ancient relatives of rhinos, when you go further and further back in time, you see that the ancient relatives of horses and rhinos look a lot like each other until the point that they are almost indistinguishable, only distinguishable by their teeth. So that's maybe if you look up that example, maybe it will help your.
Yes, well, Aron was trying to get us to delineate a point such as what you're referring to.
Correct.
And
Brachiodaactyls
even
are
if
good. Sorry, go ahead.
Even if a rhino and a horse had a common ancestor, you can't go all the way back to that tree of life that
do you accept that? Do you accept that rhinos and horses are related?
I have no clue, sweetheart. I'm just saying it's highly more feasible than saying that a starfish is related to.
Well, it may be a good starting point for you because, of course, going all the way back to like starfish and such, that it will be more complicated to get your head around. So maybe you start with the easier stuff to understand and then work up your way to the more difficult stuff to understand.
Excuse me. Hey, this just reminded me. I don't think that Peter's question was ever answered as far as why nobody can actually date the genomes and whatnot that will be on the ark. She refused to answer. She said she couldn't or whatever.
Yeah,
what was the ultimate? So that was. I mean, but we kind of got sidetracked into all these other things. What was the complete answer to that?
I have no way of knowing.
I don't think we expect Cindy to be like a geneticist.
Well,
and to be fair,
there's
no
a lot of
will make a proposal on that. So it's not. It's just they don't put a model out there.
There's a lot of difference.
In all fairness, Cindy, hold on. In all fairness, I asked that question just to point out that those people who pretend to be creation scientists, they don't know. And they know why they don't know. Because admitting anything would be admitting to the fact that evolution actually happens. This is why we can know that these people are lying. Because
well,
they
actually,
know they're
I have to
lying.
disagree with that because the reason I'm not answering the question has no bearing on me being afraid of admitting.
That's what I wanted to hear.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I asked the question. I asked you the question to point out that there is no creation scientist who has the answer to that question, because the moment they would answer it, they would set themselves up as liars. And they know they would. That's why they don't have an answer. That's why baraminology has never become a real science, because no creationist wants to go there.
Well, say like Ken Hovind or Standing for Truth, people like that, they'll say that Noah had to take basic kind, so he could take 2 cats on the ark, 2 representatives of the cat kind, and they get off the ark, and in 4,400 years, they've speciated out to all the cats that we see today. Are you familiar with that model?
That's suggesting some hyper evolution that I just don't think is feasible within.
Exactly.
See if she follows.
Exactly. That's why I asked the question, because if there were only 2 cats on Noah's Ark, you would have had some turbo evolution to get to the amount of cats that we see today.
She ever said that she can't. So what is your definitive response?
Again, I asked the question. I didn't ask the question to force Cindy to answer because
I understand why you asked it. I get that. So can we not know what her answer is? I understand that's not relevant to why you asked it.
Lionel, if you understand that I asked the question not to get an answer from Cindy, why are you asking Cindy for an answer?
Oh boy.
But I think she's at least familiar. Are you at least familiar with the concept of that, Cindy?
Yeah, and I heard Kent make a claim that he
Because
knew
I'm interested in
dog
hearing what
breeder.
her response.
Well, let her talk. Let her talk.
Lionel, I wouldn't answer your question just because of your attitude, okay? It's really rude to talk to people like that, and it doesn't help the discussion. Anyway, I heard that you could make 300 breeds of dogs in let's see, was it 100 years or
I'm on mute. I'm not
something like
saying
that?
anything.
You're not
Does
on mute.
anybody know that?
We hear you.
I'm not
Just in
talking.
the middle.
Yes, you are.
Does anybody know the answer to that?
Could
I
you
heard
repeat the
somebody.
question? I couldn't
So
hear
with
you.
Artificial selection, you can move much more rapidly than natural selection.
Yeah, with
That's true.
artificial selection, we can really
That's true.
shuffle things up, and we can breed within just a few generations specific traits and characteristics. The differences between even the most similar species of cats, though, are going to be greatly diverse compared to even
I
the
don't
most
think-
distant related canines.
I don't think you can get. I don't think you can get a rhino with a horse through artificial.
I can actually give a more dramatic example. Like I can bring an example from what I'm more familiar with. Like I work with plants, and one more dramatic example of selective breeding is the brassica. Like kale, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. They are all, even though they look all very differently, very drastically differently, they are all descended from one single plant species. Yeah, the wild mustard.
Yeah, from the wild mustard.
And P-Town, no one says we're going to go from a rhino to a horse.
Well, I don't. Let me just say, I don't think that there's a common ancestor between a rhino and a horse.
Well, it's provable. We have facts to back it up. So
I would like to see those facts.
Sure,
adapters
you
are pretty
can join
robust
Cindy
fossil record.
with Aron Ra and learn everything you want to know.
Yeah. Or watch Jackson Reed's video.
Or Jackson Reed.
That's a good starting point.
Like on Jackson Beat, we have a video where we mentioned the relatives of horses and the relatives of rhinos, and see like, when you go back far enough, they look pretty much identical.
I think that the
I don't
difference
even
is
know if any of us in this room knows the size of the ark and how many animals would fit on it.
We have a pretty good
We don't
understanding.
even know what we're talking about.
We have a good understanding.
I think the difference between evolutionists and creationists, we look at it like we look at the differences, and you guys look at the similarities and say, "Whoa, look how similar they are." We look at the differences and go, "That can't happen."
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would say
I look at both. I look at both. So the similarities and differences.
That doesn't make sense.
Regardless of the size of the ark, because I know people like Ken Hovind has made the claim that maybe Noah and his sons were 15 to 20 feet tall, so the boat could have been just so massive. But it's not just about the size of the boat; it's just the fact that there's only 8 people on there to care for the animals, and that's going to put a limit on just how many animals it's feasible to care for. And it doesn't really make sense to say God just magically made it so they didn't have to care for them, or that they would need to be cared for.
I think that's a whole nother debate, though.
Hibernation is
whole
the
nother
thing.
discussion.
Hibernation
God
is a
told
very
them to bring
common
food
thing.
and provisions for the animals on the ark. Not that they were all going to be in stasis for the whole time. Weren't they instructed to
Now
bring
you're just making
food and-
claims. You'd have to prove that because the Bible doesn't say anything about that. You're just making
it doesn't,
claims.
but it's just
Okay.
another possibility, kind of like you're saying.
It's not a
there's
possibility,
12
though.
possibilities for
Well, I mean-
abiogenesis to happen.
No.
It is a possibility. It doesn't say that they weren't put in hibernation, but we have no reason to think that they were.
You also have to take into account all the inbreeding from a small population of every single species as well.
The bottleneck.
Yeah.
You see a big bottleneck.
Do you believe dinosaurs were on the
you would
ark?
see that
Cindy?
throughout the world.
Yeah,
Cindy,
I
do you
guess so.
You believe dinosaurs were on the ark?
I think it says of every kind.
Wow, that's crazy. But you still haven't defined what a kind is, so.
I don't find
they
that
make babies.
as big of a deal
If they
as
make
you guys.
babies, they're kind.
Well, what does it mean? What do you
And then
mean by
Cindy,
kind?
after you answer that question, we're going
If you-
to get Clockwork Rex in.
Thanks, Aim.
I can
And
hop
I-
off.
oh,
Hey, I gotta go
continue.
grab dinner.
Thank
So
you.
Sorry,
Bye,
I
Jen. Good to see you. Gotta get to bed, guys.
Jen, would you like an outro? Any final words on the subject?
Thanks for having me. It's been a great time. I really enjoyed this convo, and hopefully we can do it again soon. Take
Bye,
care. Nice to
Jen.
see everybody.
I wish I could have heard more of what you were saying, Jen.
I really enjoyed meeting you, Cindy. I'm sure we'll have a chance to go into it sometime soon. Bye for now.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
And
That's not real.
right, with that, I am actually going to just add in Clockwork Rex. We have 20 minutes left before we head to outros. So now is
I'm
the time.
gonna head out early. I gotta go to bed. I got an early day tomorrow.
Bree, any final words?
Oh
Good night,
no,
Bree.
just it was good to meet everybody, or everybody that I didn't already know anyway. But Lionel and Cindy I didn't know, and Jen who just left. But and I think I've met Rubik before, but I'm not sure. I think maybe I have.
Maybe in a
Anyway.
chat. I don't know.
Anyway, it's been fun hanging out with you guys. I'll see you later.
It's been
Thank
fun
you for your
having you
respectful
It was good.
questions, and what a refreshing
Was
way
good to see you, Bree.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And all right, on that, Clockwork Rex, we are Midnight Ranting on creation or
Night, Jen.
evolution. I hope you are doing fantastic. Night, Jen. And we want to know, what are your thoughts about the debate, the subject, or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It was good to see Brainbug in here again, or Bree, or yeah,
Bree.
Bumblebee.
She doesn't go for Brainbug anymore.
Bumblebee. Is she Bumblebee now? Okay, fair enough.
Hype science.
Well, I mean, I keep hearing about abiogenesis, and like we came from rocks and shit like that. That's not necessarily true.
It's not true at all.
She hasn't made that claim tonight, to be
Yeah,
fair.
no, she
so
hasn't.
I don't want to hang that Ken Hovind talking point around her neck because I don't think she's ever said that. So,
Well, I think she said life came from non-life. I think I heard that.
Well, that's what Cindy
No,
believed.
I'm saying that's what cannot happen. That's what abiogenesis is, life from
Well,
non-life. And we
do you
believe
know-
that would require a miracle.
Hold on one second. Do you know about comets?
Comment?
Do you know they are a thing? Comets. They are a thing.
Comet.
I'm sorry. Are you saying the comet that flies through the sky?
Yeah, that's what he means.
Several of them. Yeah. And 99% of them have organic matter on them.
And your point?
It's called panspermia. Have you never heard of that?
Well, we did discuss that in the debate tonight. We talked about that because everyone knows that life has to come from a parent or a seed,
I don't
people
know
are
that.
appealing to extraterrestrial sources.
Which
And-
your
Bree
claim,
even
though.
pointed out, that's just kicking the can down the road because sooner or later it had to start somewhere from non-living
Right.
material. So
And
Yeah.
most
I mean-
scientists don't subscribe to the panspermia idea. Not even the ones
Well,
yeah.
I know that. But
I
I mean,
it
it's
doesn't,
one
it
of
doesn't explain. It doesn't
It's one
explain
of-
much.
but we have found organic material on comets, and we have found that organic material, amino acids, can spontaneously form in the laboratory. Even RNA could form. So I think he's just trying to say, like, we can get the ball rolling on a biogenesis. We don't have all the answers. We don't have a complete model yet, but at least we have a few things to at least get started with. I think it's
The first major hurdle, like the first for hundreds of years, was the dogma that says that the organic compounds are unique to life. They are not found without life. But of course, experiments like the Miyu experiment and the comets examples like that, we now know that the organic compounds can be formed without life. But of course, it's far from life. Of course, obviously, it's far from
Right.
life. Yeah.
Hey, Cindy, do you understand that your point is that all life came from non-life? Do you understand that?
That is not my point.
It's 100% your point, and I'll explain why.
Well,
it's because you believe in God, correct?
Of course, sir.
Okay, so God just poofed everything into existence. So it came from non-life.
God is life.
Well, I
You have
think
any
what
proof
she's,
of that?
I think what she said. I think what she's saying is she accepts that there's a miracle in her model, where she looks
Which
at
is life from
abiogenesis
non-life,
and thinks that would have to take a miracle to happen. So
right, so life from
just to try
non-life.
to
Just wanted to be clear.
steelman
Okay.
her position.
Yeah, if you have
in
a pile of chemicals or a pile of dust or some stardust or a box of nothing, it's not going to poof into anything without a creator.
Cindy,
Says
I
you.
have to correct you on one. I have to correct you on one thing. What was Adam made out of?
Well, yes, he was made out of dust, but that was with a creator. Dust by itself, without the power of God, cannot turn into a human.
But Bird's argument was that was life coming from non-life.
Non-life, exactly.
Well,
And
remember, he says,
it's
"I'm
literally
the way, the truth,
the
and
only
the life."
example. It's literally the only example in the Bible where God used existing materials to create something.
And also,
But
and
it's
also
with
and also he
his
said
power,
that
honey. It's not by
Yeah,
itself.
that's
It's not just
the
sitting
claim.
there.
That's the claim. There's no evidence for that.
So, guys, I'm just going to interrupt you because I think Ness says that he has to go to bed. I also want to ask Ness, was there a slide or something that you wanted to go over that you didn't have a chance to?
Yeah, I didn't have the chance because that topic went away a long time ago. So yeah.
Ness, I have one.
Are you sure?
I have one thing that I need to mention. I'm working on the artwork for the new show for Jackson Wheat, and I made the stupid mistake of creating the entire intro in 4K, which now every single time that I want to see how it comes out, I need to wait 18 hours for the 25-second intro to render. So I've asked Jackson if we can postpone it just 1 week, so it's going to premiere next Thursday. Should you want to be part of it?
Thank you so very much, Peter. Looking forward to that. You always do great work, and you're always nice to people, whether they're atheist or theist, whether you're working on churches or non-believer content.
That's not always. No, Amy, you can't lie. That's not always true. I'm not always nice. There are people that I'm not nice to.
Okay,
I mean,
that is true.
I have had long talks with Cindy about a person that I would never be nice to.
I'll take that aspect on board.
I think
we have that person in common.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But Ness, did you have something final to say?
Oh yeah, what I wanted to show a while ago was like a picture of a fossil, one called Merotherium and another one called Pesosiren. And what you can see is that they look very closely, very similar to each other. Although one is an ancient manatee and another one is an ancient elephant relative. That's all. That's one I want to show before. But anyway, you can look it up for yourself if you're interested. But one of the things that I want to mention was about the somebody mentioned before about the RNA world is proposed because RNA is simpler than DNA. But I don't know if that is true. To me, it seems more like that RNA is in a way more complex because it's more chemically versatile and also it can form many different forms, like you have tRNA, messenger RNA, and also many microRNAs. But DNA is much more rigid in its function. So I don't think it's fair to say that the RNA world hinges on DNA being more complex than RNA. That's all. Last thing is that one of the things that is more interesting in support for the RNA world hypothesis is how life makes DNA. Life makes DNA by first transforming RNA nucleotides into DNA nucleotides, and when it's synthesizing the DNA strand, it cannot synthesize the DNA strand without a primer. And what primers does life use? RNA primers. Very interesting to say. That it still uses RNA to make DNA in a way. So that's all I have to say for now.
So
thank you for having me.
Good to have you, Ness.
Ooh, good having you on board, Ness. Also,
Thank you, Ness.
Ness,
Good to have you on.
Good to see you,
my
Ness.
favorite video game character because I'm an Earthbound fan, but that's completely different. But thank you for having me on
I'm
board.
just curious, Amy. I'm just curious. Before Ness goes, anyone know who's in his avatar?
It
looks
like a
like
Sith.
a Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
Or
not
a
sure.
Sith. Sorry, not Jedi. Sith.
He's
who
been
was
on
that
this
Sith that
channel.
had the black and
He's
the
been
red?
on this channel.
He's been on this
The guy in the avatar has been on this channel.
Oh, it's not.
You
a
may
Sith.
even know his producer.
Darth
Is it
Maul. It's not Darth Maul.
It's Aron.
Oh, it is Aron.
It's not. It's actually not Aron. It's not actually Aron. Like it's basically a reference to an old joke that Aron made. Like Aron made a joke in one of his very old talks where he showed somebody in a devil costume to make the joke like,
Gotcha.
oh, I look a lot like this guy who is in a devil costume, and I basically modified that picture into an avatar. Yeah.
It looks like
Who's that?
Darth
character
Vader
from
before he
Pocahontas
turned.
that they always call, say, Arnold.
Anakin Skywalker.
Or Aron.
Anakin?
Yeah.
It looks like Anakin before he
I
turned.
didn't know Anakin was
Yeah.
red.
Anakin's Darth Vader. You know that, right?
But he's not
But he wasn't red, was he?
Well, at one point.
No.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen it for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I need to go for the.
Good to have you, Ness.
Nice
I
to have
want
you
to see your
on.
castle, Ness.
Catch you later, Ness.
It's
Right.
Nesse.
Now, I'm
Scotland?
hesitant.
I
but-
don't know.
Oh, hold on one
Be
second.
hesitant, Amy.
Yeah. Amy, you can make the claim that you had Nessie on your show.
See, but here's the
and
thing.
everyone will think something
I want to win
different.
people over. Oh, he left.
Oh,
That's
look,
'cause he has
someone else
connection
came out.
issues.
Someone else
Well,
came
no,
out.
exactly. I know someone rational and skeptical came on, but I mean, the people I've learned that the people that I swear come in to basically hate us. They for whatever reason
Troll.
keep on being addicted. Though he was moderately calm. And I don't know where these nationalists come from. but
Speaking
maybe
about
win them over.
people who hate us, why is Mark Reid in the chat and not in here?
Actually, he is just joined us backstage. We couldn't help ourselves because there was a certain upside down person that
I
we've been
booted him
trying
from
to
the
get
chat.
us over. Did you? Okay.
Yeah, he got the boot from old Bird.
Once again.
Or timed him out anyway. I didn't boot him.
But sending love to everyone out here. I think Mark is going to be our last person. We got 5 more minutes left, but we're before our outros. But
not
we
Mark.
want him in. We are Midnight
man.
Ranting on creation or evolution. Lovely to have you
Settle down,
on
Bird.
board. What are your thoughts
Hello.
about the
Hey, Mark.
debate, the topic, anything we've been talking about?
Mark,
Yeah,
I hate you. Another 4-hour video. I hate you.
Yeah, I know
You
do.
make me
I love
watch
you, buddy.
4-hour video.
Yeah, I love you too. No, I think the science is pretty well settled, and I think what I was asking in Praise Room the other day was what like to creationists was what would you believe if you were presented with sort of overwhelming scientific evidence? Would you believe the evidence or the Bible kind of thing? And they sort of, it was interesting, the response, it was kind of, we'll believe the evidence if you could show us in the Bible where it makes it true kind of thing. So that was sort of the response I get. And it was interesting. It was interesting. So I'm not sure I could use the Bible to do that. So it seems like the Bible's the priority where it comes to evidence for some creationists. Not everyone's the same, of course. But I found that interesting. But I do believe that evolution is the best model we have for explaining the biodiversity of our planet, I think that in scientific circles, it's definitely it's a settled question, but I'm always happy to debate the topic, as you well know. I did see there was a debate. I had to go out today, but I did see there was a debate on that I really wanted to watch, but wasn't it Aron Ra and who was the other person?
And
Cindy.
Cindy.
Yeah.
And Sal and Dr.
Yeah. So I haven't watched that, Cindy. I do apologize, but I certainly will when I get a chance because I've just gotten in the door. But I love watching debates on creation versus evolution.
This was a good debate, Mark. You'll
It
enjoy
honestly
watching
was,
this
yeah.
one.
It wasn't
yeah.
a total shit show.
Yeah, one thing I find, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Interesting about the 6,000 years that young Earth creationists like to tote is that's about when writing first appears in archaeological records, around 6,000 years ago.
Well, that would make sense if humans have appeared then.
But humans
writing from the beginning.
But we know that's not true.
Humanity's between 100 and 200,000 years as we know them.
Right. Just go look up Göbekli Tepe. It's 10,000 BCE, and it's over in
they
modern
think they're all
Turkey.
misdated. They think they're all
Yeah.
misdated.
Yeah, we do.
I think sort of the
wrong.
Australian Aboriginals were doing paintings, the dot paintings, for so far back, sort of 40,000 years back.
I believe it. Yeah, that's one of the oldest human societies are found there.
And I mean, I was having this conversation. Sort of ice layers in the Antarctica alone go back 800,000 layers, and we know they're deposited annually.
We do not know they are deposited annually.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
yes.
Have you ever lived in Minnesota? You get one storm, and how many storms in one winter?
Antarctic and Minnesota are two different.
Cindy, can I make a suggestion for you?
You get a storm,
Cindy?
and you don't get this much per year.
Yeah, so those layers, Cindy, they're caused by the melting of the ice layers in summer, and it forms a layer, and then it refreezes, kind of thing.
I'm familiar with the argument.
Yeah, so we can sort of see how many times it's happened nowadays. We can see the layers still, because the same process is still happening. It reforms, and then it melts again and reforms, and melts again and reforms. So we can sort of see that an annual melting occurs, and then it reforms. We can tell they're annual layers. This science
No,
is
sir, we
pretty well
cannot. There's
We can't.
evidence
Oh.
against that.
No.
So 800,000 layers, if you're sort of claiming a blizzard puts them down.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but there's also the Lost Squadron that proves that so many feet happened in 48 years or something like that.
Sorry,
That
the
was
Lost
pretty close
Squadron,
to the
I'm not
coast.
familiar with them.
What, honey?
It's
No,
planes
no,
that
that's-
crashed in Greenland, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then
This
they
is
counted the
Antarctica,
layers
no?
Yeah, that's not
of
Antarctica.
how far down they were buried. Yeah.
Yeah, Arctic goes down a fair way, but not like Antarctica. It goes down like so many layers. It's incredible.
Not to mention Antarctica's a desert.
Well, yes, it is desert.
Cindy,
It gets very little.
Cindy, can I make a suggestion?
Yes, Peter.
I will shoot you the link. Recently, on Jackson Wheat's channel, we had a geologist, and we talked about the different ways of how we date things. Did you know that with carbon dating, we can now date correctly to the day? I didn't know that. I was
carbon dating's
completely
got a
blown away
limit.
by that.
About 80,000, 90,000 years is about the limit of carbon-14.
Yes, but
Well, that's fine. That still blows out 6,000.
the fact that they're so accurate these days that they can date to the day, which is something that they tested because we know when a certain volcano erupted, and we can date exactly to that day. Another thing is that we know that we had nuclear testing, which throws off C14 dating. And we can also test that to the day and see when the explosions happened. And we can all of that data is now coming forward, and this is an additional thing where we can test whether or not carbon-14 dating works, and apparently it works pretty well.
Can I see that paper as well? I'd be interested in reading it.
It wasn't the paper. It was we interviewed a guy who works on stuff like that.
Or the private
What
chat.
was the interview?
I'll look it up and I'll put it in the private chat and in the public chat. Just give me a second.
I assume you're talking about Mount Vesuvius, because we know almost exactly when that happened due to writings from Pliny the Younger.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, they use a different calendar then, so we know about when it happened. I think they're still using the Julian calendar.
As close as we can for an event in the natural world. Were there any lingering questions still on your mind, Cindy, while we have a few minutes?
It just feels increasingly like the divide is so great. I don't know how to broach it.
Between like
it's a lot to
creation,
process.
evolution, or
Yep.
Atheist versus Christian. It's just such a huge fundamental clash of worldview.
Correct.
I guess I would just like to reiterate my desire is that we could live harmoniously together.
Agreed.
And not...
Yes.
We
Out of
agree with that
curiosity,
100%.
Cindy, why can't evolution be a mechanism of God's creation in your mind?
There's 3 different reasons.
And actually, before you start, Cindy's going to give her 3 different reasons, and then when she's done, we're going to outros. But the floor is yours, Cindy, for as long as you need to say that.
Thanks, Aim.
And I put the link. I put the link in the private chat, and I put it in the public chat. So if you want to go check out that one, that was a really good conversation.
Scripturally, there wasn't death before Adam and Eve. And so there couldn't have been millions of years of death and suffering before humans. And why would a nice God, a God of love, have millions of years of death and suffering when all he has to do if he's a powerful God is just speak the word?
Correct.
And the resurrection of Christ, where a perfectly dead body can come back to life, that's the power of life in a word. And that's the power that created. It's just a lame God. It's a mean God. And I believe scripturally it does teach that Yom means a 24-hour day. And Jesus referred to the creation week. He believed it. And if it's a God that can raise the dead, he can make something from nothing. He can make life where there was no life. And that's the kind of a God that I want to lift up and not try and say, well, you know, that's the kind of God I want to lift up. That I believe.
And actually, I know you want to have follow-ups, but I'll actually let everyone say whatever they want because they're all going to get our personal outros. But Mark, you were the most recent person to join us, which means you are on deck, and we are moving into our Midnight Ranting.
On the girl deck,
shiny
Mark.
head.
Oh
Yeah.
Woohoo! Thank you for joining us. As always, fun having you on. But we were talking creation or evolution, and we want to know what you got going on, and really, what are you doing?
Yeah, my picture is. Yeah, I am very fuzzy. I gotcha. Weird. Come on. Okay, so apparently my focus. Apparently my focus. Look, this is the best you're going to get. I'm afraid.
You got Ken Hovind stick guy.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is scary because that's me. What am I going to do? No, okay. So okay. So I get what Cindy's saying. I actually agree with Cindy in that no matter what your worldview, isn't there a way we can all live for it together in sort of harmony and peace? And yeah, I think that most moralities of Christians and atheists aren't that different. Like not significantly different that we can't sort of live together. I guess my problem is that religion puts a lot of money into the political systems, change laws into and put them sort of stuff onto me, which I don't particularly like. But I think that if we all just sort of accept each other's worldviews and say, hey, you're entitled to believe whatever you want, I don't see why we can't live together in harmony. It's when I start to say, hey, you've got to change the way you live, not for any benefit to society, but because of what I believe. That's when we start getting into trouble, because then my personal beliefs are impacting on you. And you might say, well, science does that. Well, science is kind of tries to be objective and sort of describe the reality as it is rather than sort of a belief system. And it's certainly not a religion. I'll give you the tip right now. But I do apologize. I don't know why I'll have to fix my camera. I don't know why it suddenly but thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, Cindy. I know it's always, scary to walk into a people that just, hello.
Mark, I'm going to say something, and I don't know where it was because you keep posting
It's his
4-hour
outro.
videos, and there's no way. There's no way. Yeah, I know that it's his outro, but
That's
I
all right.
know
I don't
that
mind.
someone
Peter's
called.
going to interrupt whatever I do, so
Kick him, Bird.
In one of your videos, Mark, someone claimed that you were bald.
I did. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who it was, but if you meet that person again, you can point them to this video and say, "I'm bald, but I still was fuzzy." So I don't know how that works, but maybe we can talk about that sometime.
Yeah, okay. Now I feel really, really, really sensitive about it.
Thank you so very much, Mark.
Now you can take back what you said in allowing Peter to interrupt you at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my mistake. Peter, you should have been booted ages ago. Give him the old bird boot.
Yeah.
Go on.
Thank you so very much, Mark.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. It's good to see you all.
And all right,
see
I
you,
will
Mark.
say the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server will be open up for an after show. So if you're still looking for fun, that will be opening up. However, we are going
And it's
right
all bets
down
are
the
off in
line.
that chat, just so you know.
My.
How do you guys
Amy,
stay up so late?
Amy, do Mark a favor and put up Beamsy's comment. He's gonna like that.
Well, it's not late for me, Cindy. I'm the only person with a normal schedule, so it's during the day for me.
And James
Run
and
these
I
streams all the time late at night.
Well, James and I think specifically are vampires. So once the light goes on, you have to retreat.
Yeah.
So I heard the best description of you, Amy, on Randolph's Atheist Appreciation Day stream, and that was Amy Newman is the Atheist Night Crew.
That's
Yeah,
right,
the night
baby.
manager. Yeah,
The night crew. We just come by.
Did he
clean up
say that?
everything.
She's the night manager?
yeah, night manager. Yeah.
I like it. I dig it indeed. Sends in light to the day crew. But yes, we are moving down to Clockwork Rex. We have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. Lovely having you on. What you got going on, and what are your final thoughts?
I'm good. I'm glad you're all doing good. I just have a couple of questions. If God is omnipotent, knows everything, and omniscient, can do anything, why the fuck would he put the knowledge of good and evil tree in the Garden of Eden and then put the serpent in there? I mean, it's a couple of questions. Yeah.
I actually thought the same thing. If you're a preschool teacher, you don't put something that's going to kill the child in front where they can reach it.
But your God does.
And
Yep.
Yep.
I was told, well, they're not children.
Oh, they're not.
Adam and Eve were.
They had no knowledge. They had no knowledge of good and evil, so they didn't know disobeying God was a bad thing.
You know, I can't understand it all, but I do know that Jesus was real and he's worthy of being believed.
There you go.
Obfuscation.
Not obfuscation. Like I said earlier, there's some things that are worthy of faith and some things that are worthy of being tested.
If you had
anything else, Clockwork?
I don't know who that was.
But yes, Clockwork. Anything else?
No, I'm good. Y'all take care.
Sounds good to me. Glad to have you on board. Lovely as always.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me up.
And I'm glad to be queer. What are we talking about? All right. We are moving down, continuing forward. Rubik's, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. I think this was your first time being live on the stream with us?
Yes.
Well, it was
Glad to
lovely to
have
have you on board. Yes, glad to have you. But we have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. I hope you had a fun time. What do you got going on in the interwebs, and what are your final thoughts?
I really just want to give props to Cindy for remaining calm when pretty much everyone in the chat was questioning her and challenging her. So I do want to give props to you, Cindy, for remaining
Thank
calm
you,
and
Rubik's.
civil.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and I think there's a lot to learn from both sides of the debate. However, I do strictly think one side is very much on the religion aspect, and one is very much more the scientific based. But I think as humans, we have a lot to learn from each other and different beliefs in general.
I really appreciated being able to talk to you because you could state your beliefs and your challenges in a respectful way. It's always been a blessing.
Evolution is not a belief, though.
But it was lovely having you on, Rubik's.
Yes.
Woo-hoo. Keep coming on.
Hello.
Oh my!
Yes, insomnia.
Oh, naughty night. But speaking of people, I think, Lion, this is your second time being with us, and we are glad to have you on board. We have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. I hope you had fun. What you got going on, and what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. I was a little disappointed because when I did call in previously, you guys were very intelligent, and I wanted to get a better idea of why my thought process would be wrong or why it's not possible. And again, I'll just leave with asking, why can't it be both? I don't see why it has to be one or the other. I mean, other than, for this young lady, I get it. Like, if she understands that it can't be the God of the Bible, like, I get it. That's why she's stuck in that. But, we can go past that time period and go back and back and back. And it's both. God said, let there be light. It was a big bang.
Thank you so very much, Lionel. It was lovely having you on. Keep coming on.
Hello.
I can't help it. But I'm actually just so happy that we've had a almost 50-50 creation atheist, but we are atheists. Yeah, I almost did it myself. Creationist, evolutionist. So it was really fun to get a lot of theists on board. Thank you so very much, Lionel. And we're going straight down. Peter, or Pieter, we have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. I hope you had a fun time. What do you got going on? And of course, what are your final thoughts?
Oh, you don't want to know what I have going on. I'm rendering a video. So for the past, I don't know, hour or so, I've been looking at some guy from Lenox, Alabama.
No.
Who's going to be in that intro, and he's not going to like it because he looks a little silly. But yeah, so that's what I have going on. I'm frantically trying to get the art done so we can actually do the show next Thursday. I'm not going to give away the title yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to watch videos of different people promoting bad science, and we're going to react to that, and that is going to be on Jackson Wheat's channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, here's your chance to go do it, because I posted a link to the video earlier, and at least you would be able to find his channel. Other than that, we're going to have another Bible study this Saturday, the Blasphemer's Bible on Aron Ra's channel. On Sunday, we're going to do the same thing, but then we're going to read Joseph Smith, or the Book of Mormon, however you want to see that. And I have to say, both shows have become some of my favorite shows. Obviously, because on the Bible reading, we got the brilliant Lilith, who is my co-host, and on Joseph Smith, we got pretty much all comedians. And so I would never have known that reading the Book of Mormon could be so much fun. But apparently it is, because Trump's in there, and New Yorkers and Southerners, but you have to go watch that in order to see what is going on. On the debate, I really like the debate, and the reason I really like the debate is because, I mean, we all know Cindy. Cindy is a nice person to talk to. And after this debate, one claim Kent Hovind can never make, and that is that Aron is disrespectful, constantly overtalks people, because that's not what he did. Nope. I mean, I may have missed it because I haven't seen everything yet, but I think it was a pretty good debate. It was a pretty good back and forth. I think Aron would really like to have that interaction with Cindy, and I'm hoping that will happen. Whether or not Cindy will be convinced, I mean, we don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it would be good for her to have that interaction with Aron, because she will at least find out that Kent has been lying about that. Aron is a really respectful person, a kind and humble guy when you meet him in person. So yeah, who knows what will come from that. It'll drive Kent nuts, if anything. So it's a win-win-win situation. But yeah, and I like that Cindy still comes on channels like this and have chat and come on here for the after show. I've said it before, I like Cindy as a person. She's a really nice person to talk to, and we've gotten along, and she's always been respectful and never tried to be anything other than that. So Kent hasn't dropped off on her, which is one of the things that I really like.
Yo. I just want to reiterate that you guys showed me more compassion and morality than Kent Hovind ever even imagined. I just am still stunned by his complete lack of a moral compass.
I'm still stunned by your courage.
That's for sure.
And
Indeed.
I'm still stunned by your courage that you will still keep telling people about what happened. That's why I have the utmost respect for you, for Mark Stoney, because I know how difficult it is when people go against someone like Kent Hovind, who has a big following.
It's not that big.
You're going to get, well, you
Yeah,
might
we
think
get
that. But
backlash.
there's
We get a lot of backlash.
There's a lot of backlash. And in order to stand up against that and still continue and expose what happened, yeah, you deserve respect. You're one of the first. We've heard people speak out, not in the way that you and Mark are doing at this moment. And yeah, I can only say I admire what you're doing, and I love your work when it comes to that.
Thank
and
you.
on that note, thank you so very much, Peter. Lovely having you on as always. Keep doing awesome work. And we are moving down to the last few panelists before we head out, and the after show's open if anyone would like. However, P-Town, what is up? We have a Midnight Ranting on Creation or Evolution, another fantastic, just started joining us panelist, and we are actually great to have you here, P-Town. We love our theists, and so I'm putting the ball right back to you. We are Midnight Ranting.
You've been talking way too much, P-Town. You need to relax.
What do you got going on? And really, what are your final thoughts on the topic?
Well, this discussion has been a hard one to sit through for me. I'm here because my heart's out for you folks. I think that you're deceived. I think that the Bible is real. I know the Bible's real.
Well, we think the Bible's real too.
That's a good one. The God of the Bible's real.
Sorry, I'm gonna shut up.
I think that science supports that, and I think that what you're looking through, the lens that you're looking through, is wrong. I think that's clear. There's a lot of things I want to say. I think the Bible does define kinds. I don't think that a rhino and a horse, and I'll have to go look at the debate, see what Aron Ra said, but I think that that's silly. I think that there's a whole lot of silly things when it comes to evolution, which we didn't even talk about really. Jump from RNA to DNA, whatever. I guess I would like to know more about that imagination that was invented and that we're studying. I when it comes to the comments, and how there's organic matter, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, maybe that came from Noah's flood when it exploded from the fountains of the deep. I don't know, but what about all the evidence that how comets point to a young Earth? I think that this was an unfortunate discussion. I think there could have been a lot more that we could have actually gotten deep into. And yeah, that's my honest feelings. I'm actually leaving a little bit sad, honestly, because the devil wants people to be confused. And that's all that this chaotic conversation tonight did, was just confuse people. And there's some kids out there who are going to actually listen to a lot of this nonsense and believe it, just like I did.
We hope.
But Pete,
well, that's an interesting thing to hope for.
I appreciate you being on the panel and having the conversation and asking the tough questions like all of us are doing tonight. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Hey, P-Town, if you have some of that stuff you were talking about, evidence that points to a young Earth, maybe you could contact me and we could look into that.
I'd like to see that as well.
Yeah, me too.
My birthday's coming up at the end of October, and I was thinking of trying to do my first live share. I don't know how to do it, but I thought it would be a fun birthday party.
Oh, you don't know how to go live and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to say, Peter or or both of us.
Cindy, hit me up. I'll help you out.
In fact,
it's really good.
Peter is a fantastic producer, and I know that
he's all right.
and I know that he's helped out atheists.
Better than you, Bird.
And
yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
And all right, thank you so very much, panelists, and P-Town for your outro. And then we just have a few more left. The Dr. Vegetarian Bird, lovely to have you on. I have Penelope back here also pushing buttons. But we have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. I hope that you had a great time tonight. And what are you? I actually can answer this for you. I normally ask what you got going on. And that answer, ladies and gentlemen, is none of y'all business.
None of your damn business.
Well, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I'm going to make this real simple. I had no final thoughts. That's it.
Boom, mic drop.
Yep.
And
Profound.
I know.
With that, it means that we only
Sometimes
have
more is less.
Yeah.
More is less, exactly. We only have the co-pilot and our special guest host left. And so
The little kitty.
And the little kitty. Penelope, she's such a good girl. Yes. And all right, speaking of good kitties, we have our producer along with James there. James and Gizmo, we have been Midnight Ranting on creation or evolution. You brought
Now you hassle my camera. Look at this. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have a light on. That's why.
But I think both of us, when you saw it and you brought it to my attention, and then we both kind of looked at each other and we're like, "This is kind of our wheelhouse." And so,
This is mandatory.
yeah.
Yeah, we.
And so, any final
it was
thoughts?
a lot of
Creation,
fun.
evolution.
Oh, just I want to thank everybody for participating and coming on. Thank you so much, Cindy, for giving your time to us to let us discuss these important issues. And I know going on modern day debate can be a little. It's a big platform. It takes really a lot of courage to go out and put yourself out there like that and take on a titan in the atheist world that is Aron Ra. So that definitely takes a good measure of courage
I hope I did
and
something
faith.
good.
Oh, I think you did very well. That was your first time on the big stage, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you did fine. You did fine. You got to make your points, and you were passionate about it, and that's that definitely says something. So, anyway, yeah, great show, guys. Thanks so much for being a part of it, and go get some sleep. We'll be back later in the week.
James, thanks for helping me articulate my points and being respectful, even though you disagree.
Oh well, that's just how we roll here. We're not here to browbeat people or try to force people to strong arm people. We just want to have good conversations, and if that ends up going anywhere, it does. But if not, we can agree to disagree on certain things.
Yes.
And speaking of which, we are going to hand it over to our headliner, Cindy Lincoln. It has been honestly lovely to have you back on the
Thank you so
podcast.
much.
I'm so glad that you were here. I thought you had a great debate. It was a lot of fun. I thought this was a really good back and forth, so I thank you. And I really want to know on this Midnight Ranting, what do you have going on out there in the internet world? And also, what are your final thoughts on creation or evolution?
All I know is I need chocolate.
I know that feel.
And I need sleep. I'm sorry.
What's
That's
going on
all
your
I can come
channel?
up with. I guess I'm going to rival
Anything
Bird
going on your
this
channel?
Not so much on my channel. I've been trying to get my cabin finished, and I've been trying to get these lawsuits going, and I've been trying to work, and all of that together
doesn't leave much time left over for the channel. I did recently put up one other person came out that used to work for Kent and decided to finally tell the truth after all these years. Thank God.
Who is that?
Well, we're over 30 now. We have over 30 testimonies of people who have seen Kent's mask drop. Yay.
Can you say who the last one was, or do you have anything on your channel?
Yes. So they came out to Robert Beatty, and I basically narrated it. Gurbani Gill, and I don't know that person. This was when he was still in Pensacola. But apparently she's been watching my stuff, and she decided she needs to speak up.
Wait, so you're saying that Ken Hovind is a piece of shit? Oh, no.
Well,
No.
I also want to say in
People
the
are coming
opposite
out.
direction that we sent Cindy's channel into stream, and I've seen slowly over not just the last time that we called her out, not only on Modern Day Debate, but thanks to just now I saw her get over 800 subs.
Yep.
So she is
wow.
now, she is 200 away from monetization, ladies and gentlemen. So let us get her there.
All right, subscribe right now. Let's go.
Well, I decided, Amy, that I'm not going to monetize because I do not want to give anybody occasion to say I'm doing this for the money. It costs me a lot of damn money to do what I'm doing.
Who cares? Screw them. Do
Completely
what you gotta do.
understandable, but let me tell you,
Do what you gotta do.
monetization
Get
or
paid,
not,
girl.
I just want to get your audience wider. I want to get your
Exactly.
message out
Get
there.
Too.
And it's not like you're going to be making millions or thousands, so just...
Oh, well.
Well, maybe
No,
when this is
don't
all
rub it in,
over,
Bird.
you know, maybe when this is all over, it can be something you can work on and grow, Cindy. You know, this won't last forever, right?
I actually would, I really, really, really wish I could do more on the creation evolution and less on the exposing Ken Hovind.
Yeah.
You can just only do so much.
Or you could take that money and give it to charity. That's what I would do.
Actually, I'm in debt.
No, I'm saying the money you get from YouTube, if you ever get any, give it to charities.
We're gonna get her there, but
There you
okay.
go.
Cindy, any other final thoughts before we head out of here?
Just again, like I said, it's just such a. You guys have been such an encouragement to me, and you may not understand it, but when all the Christians are turning on me and telling me, "Oh, how can I attack a man of God?" and "You're a liar," and blah blah blah. Sometimes you guys were one of the only ones who believed me and supported me, and you have no idea what that can do.
Yeah, we do. I've lived it as well. So
Glad to be here, honestly. Atheist,
Well, you know what?
theist, we are all brothers and sisters on this earth.
Can I just add something? Can I just add
Who
something?
was that speaking? Is that Bird?
Yes, I've said I've lived through something similar. Yes.
Well, I would like to say something. It doesn't matter what your worldview, the truth should matter, right?
Exactly.
The truth should matter no matter where you're coming from, and it matters to us as well.
Yes, sir.
And all right, I think with that, thank you so very much, Cindy. I am have her channel linked. It was on screen, and you can also find her debate in the description, and by the time on Modern Day Debate, and it'll also be her own channel will be in the description once the stream is over. So if you're watching this, it will already be there. So with that.
Subscribe to it. It'll make Ken Hovind mad. That is reason enough to subscribe.
I think that's something atheists and theists can all agree on.
That's true.
That is, yeah.
And can I do? Amy? Can I do one shout out?
Just
can I do one shout out?
Two, and that would be way too much.
For Mark Stoney, right after you subscribe to Cindy's channel, subscribe to Mark Stoney. And he does hangouts similar like these, so maybe people can hop on his channel and have a conversation, because he has some really good conversations on his channel as well, and
He
there
sounds
are
like a reasonable
always
guy.
atheists and theists on there. So yeah, I just wanted to make that particular shout out.
He has also
Anon?
been very supportive of me.
Mm-hmm.
And on that
He's
note,
one of the first people to step up, right? Oh, I'm sorry. He was
Oh,
one of
really?
the
No.
people to step up and tell what was happening behind the scenes at Dinosaur
Yep.
Adventureland.
Yep, he was.
He broke
You're
that
right.
wall of silence.
He's the one who discovered Zaire. And I don't know if you guys know this, but
Yeah.
he was searching for Zaire for over a year, and we finally found him, and he was molested.
This is the guy, Amy, who the child who the
I'm so sorry.
Reid stared sex offender was carting around with him to
That's-
Dinosaur Adventureland, sleeping
That's what I mean.
in the same cabin, in the same bed, with a registered sex offender. And
That's what I mean
Yeah,
when I say it's way worse than you guys realize. It's way worse than
Understandable.
any of us realized.
And that is why I cannot shout out what you do as much as possible at the top of the hills.
Thanks.
And yes, with that, I really do. I want to thank all of you for joining us on tonight's Midnight Ranting. Creation or evolution? You know, what was funny was I heard the ding and I was like, oh, that sounds exactly like Peter's. And then it took me a second. I'm like, no, that is because it is Peter. But I want to thank you all on this episode where we threw a modern day debate inspired after party on creation versus evolution. Aron Ra versus Aron Ra and Dr. Thompson versus Sal and Cindi for a divinely good time worth evolving into. However, I do want to thank my co-host
Newman,
Jane
focus.
Focus. Along with our special guest host. Is being recorded. So, with our special guest host, Cindy Lincoln, and this is going to be out of order. Trying to find Bing, along with our guests. But hopefully I found all of you. I collected all of you. Bird.
Yes.
Ness.
Hello.
Jen. Leophilius. P-Town. Bubbles.
Ugh.
Peter. Lion.
Burst that bubble.
Bree. Clockwork. Rubik's. And Mark. And anyone else who I forgot. I still love you. We had a full house panel today, a full girl deck, which was very nice. As well as all of the lovely people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great. And of course, lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Ding, ding. If you enjoyed the show,
Newman,
please
focus.
don't forget
Newman,
to like.
listen to me. You're a grown adult.
Do you have ADD? Why, yes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry for breaking that.
Number one, I do like being on my knees.
When you're good at what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Mark Reid, are you autistic? Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Carry on. Darf's gonna have like a record of asking tautologies. Anyway, the lovely viewers in chat, or hey, oh wait, don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, because then you gain access to that all button icon, which will send you reminders to see our live streams or our premieres. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? You can also leave a super thanks, and we'll leave thanks to you
Peter,
on
that's
the next
enough.
episode.
Damn it, Peter.
After the
There's
show,
never
the
enough
Skeptic
of
and
Peter.
Ranting Discord server will be opening up, the link of which is in the description below, along with our fantastic channel members who you could become a part of by hitting that join button and get getting our evolving badge system. We also have Twitch, what is it called? Members now, sending love to Regos. First of all, sending love to Beamsy for reminding us and showing us that we actually had to turn on Twitch affiliate program, and then Regos for becoming our first member of our Twitch program.
How about Regos? He's a YouTube member, a Patreon, and a Twitch member. Look at that amazing amount of support.
All of the love, and we cannot help but send all of the love back. It really is you guys, gals, and everything in between that enables us to do what we do. So thank you. In fact, the best way to do so is by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman and becoming a supporter and finding some unique perks on the girl deck. However, I am Amy Newman. Buy our DVDs. You can see our DVD number 5.
They're really good DVDs.
You sounded like AJ doing his Kent imitation.
He is. Can I tell you, not only do I love that like AJ has the best Kent impersonation, but
Yeah,
now
okay.
just
It's not that
as James,
it's a pretty good one, I gotta say.
But as James says,
Is it like a glass of water, Bird? Get some water.
But
Don't be
even bringing
bitter,
up AJ.
Cindy. Sorry.
No.
Calm down, Cindy. Settle down.
I didn't know what to say. I just stood there stunned, and she was screaming at me. I didn't know what to do.
Why are you acting like a snot-nosed 16-year-old?
Well, actually, 2 people.
She body slammed herself down into the ground. I didn't have anything to do with that.
It's 100% your fault.
This video is exactly what happened. A fat guy in a blonde wig. That's exactly what happened. I don't know what
We
to
like
say.
to consider Dr. Hovind. He's a science teacher. He performs science experiments, gravity experiments that hopefully will be peer-reviewed by a jury of his peers.
I get goosebumps when I hear that name.
But yes, there are 2 people. If you want to trigger Kent, I mean, we're just a bunch of normies. But if you want to trigger Kent, bring up Cindy Lincoln or Atheist Jr. It just really seems to get under his crawl, grinds his gears. But yes, ladies and gentlemen,
your upcoming debate, Amy. Do it.
I'm looking for. Oh my God. I'm looking forward to some fun. But we will be
saw how he
opening up
acted
the
with
after
the last
show.
trans woman. Let's see if
my
he
goddess.
repeats his
Well,
same misbehavior.
what I love about
with this
that
one.
is that he had to like try and make a dig at the last trans woman, but then when you got to throw the mud right back in his face, you could tell once again it got really under his skin. He had to bring it up the whole debate over and over.
Well, this is not about LGBT people.
We're not talking about.
Why are we talking about that?
Listen,
Does he know that? Does he know that?
We're not talking about them gays. Here,
maybe I've had a conversation once. See, when he brings it up to any LGBTQ person, I think it takes them back, and so he kind of gets this like joke point. But when he makes stuff like that, I mean, if Kent asked me any of that stuff, I feel like it would just go horribly. Like he would say, like, can we see a picture of that? I'd be like, why would you need to see pictures, Kent? You, me, and Matt Powell were just hanging out last night. We were getting a little frisky. I don't know what you were talking about. And so, I don't think it would end his way. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Hello.
He might be the smirk
Maybe
would
he'll
turn
be
to
excited.
mortification on his face.
I know. Can we turn this? I don't know.
But in the back of his head, he would be like, "Oh, that sounds kind of interesting." Huh.
Yes, the back of the head or the lower of his pants rising. What were we talking about? Don't check browser history.
Newman, focus.
Focus. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope
She is
you all...
focusing.
Remember, you need to FUCUS. What does that spell? A
Focus.
fantastic weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have a fantastic time on the next adventure of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night. Mwah!
Good night.